Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Hughes.
Yes, that's right. This week we have a guest co-host, and I thought, why not confuse the audience? Get another Chris in here.
The more the merrier.
Today we're going to be talking about 1975's Dolomite.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Where's Ed and knockers? Spooky ain't got no real poaching. Get up, Brenda.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love a funny game. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
You could have been decent once in a while. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get us up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed.
So, Hughes, longtime friend. We've known each other for, 12 years now, something like that?
Sophomore year?
Ever
High
since
school?
you just showed up one day on campus wearing that hat, wandering around.
Which had the attitude one?
You walked up like you'd known me for a long time, just started talking to me, and I just assumed that you were somebody else's friend, and then we became friends.
Yeah, we've ended up in the yearbook together.
But Hughes, you have a really special connection to a lot of the movies we've covered in this podcast.
The first movie we've covered in this podcast.
Yes, because Hughes was a, I guess I would say, child actor.
I was a child actor for a few years as a child.
Some big movies people might be familiar with.
Deep Impact.
Yes, so in Deep Impact, you waved goodbye to your parents on a bus.
They died. I lived.
Did they die? again?
Oh, they absolutely died. There was an impact and they died in it.
Did your character live, though?
So they shot that scene twice at the Universal lot. So once I didn't live because they put us on the street and we waved goodbye to the bus. And then they needed to reshoot the bus for that girl to chase it. So they put me on that bus because I'm cute. So I lived.
Was there one shot of like your charred body left over after the impact?
No, I wish. Because there's a huge flood. They didn't have any charred bodies. It's not that
that's
kind of
right.
movie. That's
right.
Volcano.
So the other movie was it? Now I always forget. Is it Sergeant Bilko or Major Payne?
Sergeant Bilko.
They're like the same movie. Just one has Damon Wayans, one has Steve Martin.
That one was a full day in some high school in the valley. That was fun. They talked. It was seriously in the movie for all of like 3 seconds. Here's this character. She's a teacher at a school. Sergeant Bilko wants to like marry her. Okay, cool, done. That was like 3 weeks of shooting.
He wants to marry her?
Yeah, that was the whole point.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
they trying to get married and then they whatever. I don't need that plot of that movie.
I like Major Payne more.
Major Payne. That was
It's
a
got
movie
more
I
sass, I
should have
think.
been in that movie. That would have been fun.
Yeah, and then the most famous role that you still get checks from even till today.
Matilda.
That's
with
right.
Mara Wilson and Danny DeVito.
Yes, that's right. Matilda, directed by Danny DeVito, star of The Van. 1978's The Van, starring Danny DeVito and Stuart Goetz, about a ginger kid who goes around and tries to rape women in his van. Hughes knows DeVito well.
Yeah, super nice guy. Completely the same as character.
Hughes, you play a character who stands up at an assembly.
Yeah, I stand up in the assembly. They do one of my lines. They just took it and threw it over a scene.
The nice little ADR almost of your line.
Yeah, like she wouldn't give him cake, and then I sound exactly the same as I did when I was 12. When I did this.
Give him the because maybe I'll find the line and throw it in the podcast. Give me your line delivery now, and then we'll compare it.
All right, she wouldn't give him cake.
That's right, and I remember years ago when the economy tanked.
Oh God, when I was on unemployment, when I got laid off from the trash company.
Yeah, and this was a great one. You got a check for, what was it, 10 cents?
No, $17.
Oh, hey, big money.
$17. And then I guess the tax time rolled around and there was some kind of W-2 that made it to the EDD, the unemployment. And they stopped paying me for 2 months because I made money and I didn't claim it.
From a movie you were in when you were 10 years old.
Yeah. Like 90,
just a
I think it was
residual
94.
check.
I seriously think I was 10. And then I found out I never actually received the check. It went to the state controller and I have to like fill out forms to get it. So there was like this tax form that came for money I never received. I lost
That's right.
$1,200 for $17.
But principal actor in the movie Matilda.
Yeah, it was actually a really good experience.
You got your SAG card.
Well, I already had it. That was long ago.
And now you don't act anymore.
No, I didn't find a passion for it as a lot of people have.
You acted in a few of our films in high school that I'm sure those SAG members would love to get their hands on and tell me I got to pay you money.
They're going to charge you. I'm going to get like $18 out of you.
So, Hughes, I told you Chris was going to be out of town, and for everybody that's wondering who this strange man is on the podcast, the other Chris is currently on tour with his band. He plays guitar in the band Leftover Crack. He is touring Europe right now. I'm sure he's posting plenty of pictures to his Twitter and his Instagram. Make sure you let Chris know you're looking at him by using the hashtag #CallMeTex. And hopefully Chris will come home with brand new horrible stories of men in vans trying to lure him inside all over Europe.
Have you ever met my Uncle George?
Does he live in a van?
He had a van, or he still has it, like a 94, 92 Astro van, and he lives in Dana Point and on his boat.
Is this it's the one that lives in the boat, yeah.
This is the one that lives on the boat. It's a white Astro van, and he wears chaps around because he has a motorcycle. So I'm hearing Chris Mann tell this story. I'm like, that's my uncle. I'm like, if he says this guy's name and it's my uncle, I'm like, my uncle isn't Tex.
No,
but he loves women.
He could tell kids his name is something else.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was so close to my uncle.
Too close to home, huh? At some point, we're always going to try and get you on the podcast, especially because your connection to the first episode we ever did, The Van, with DeVito. You're the only person I know who knows him on a personal level. Well, and in personal level, I mean, has actually seen him in the flesh and said a word to him, and he said something back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My sister and my mom went to their house for like a fireworks show they did after Matilda. I met Rhea. She was super nice. Everybody actually on that set. If you're working with children in a children's movie, I guess you're going to have like that cool thing. But the best person I met on there was probably Pam Ferris.
Oh, yeah?
She was super nice. So she played the Trunchbull.
Oh, okay.
Who was also like, in Death to Smoochie. She was the...
Yeah, another DeVito movie. Yeah. All
So
right. DeVito should have called you back for Death to Smoochie. I feel like it was sorely lacking that kid who stood up in the assembly.
There's only one movie I didn't get that I really wish I got.
What's that?
Hook.
Oh, God. You tried out to be one of the Lost Boys?
I was a Lost Boy. I went in for all the costume fittings, got it all down, and like a week before they start shooting, we got somebody else we want to use.
Oh,
like,
son
come
of a bitch.
on. I'm like, that one, I would have liked to be known for Hook and not Matilda, because now I get called the kid that ate the cake. Instead of like the kid that rolled down the ramp.
I wasn't even going to mention it. But an inside joke we had for years was, as soon as Hughes told me he was in the movie Matilda, I said, oh, I know who you were. You were the kid who ate cake in the assembly. And you used to get real fucking pissed about that.
Your brother just fucking texted me like 3 days about this. I have it. He goes,
I used to tell women that we would meet and be like, oh, yeah, this guy is in Matilda. You remember that assembly scene? Like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, he's the guy who ate all that cake.
Never helped me.
But now, see, I wasn't even going to mention it. I was trying to be a good friend.
No, that's fine. That kid's like super handsome now or something, from what I hear.
Oh, what happened to you? He was...
Grew a beard. Moved down to the beach.
You were going to come on this podcast, and then I said, well, why didn't you come on without Chris? Because 2 Chris's is too much. What movie do you want to do? And you suggested Dolomite to me.
It was something you brought up before, because you go, hey, Chris, you really like... you really like Tyler Perry movies.
Oh, God.
I have an appreciation for Tyler Perry movies that you guys, I failed to see, I guess, because there's like 2 parts. There's a funny part and a serious part. And he mixes them. He's so good at mixing them.
I would say one of your favorite genres of movies is African American movies.
I don't know.
You like
I like older
Tyler Perry movies. You like all those ones, the Snoop Dogg movies, all those.
I'm not a huge fan of Soul Plane, but everything else is good.
Nobody likes Soul Plane.
I'm sure you would love Soul Plane when it was coming out.
I did see it in the theater. I did see it in the theater. Opening night. So you said Dolomite, which I thought you had seen the movie.
No, I've always been recommended Dolomite.
But now, after trying to watch it, you told me about 3 times Do you regret picking it?
No, because I think Dolomite was suggested because that new movie Black Dynamite or something came out and it kind of resurged Dolomite, which is where I got pushed.
Yeah, Dolomite was recently re-released on Blu-ray, and they're releasing pretty much all of Rudy Ray Moore's movies right now. I saw, I think Human Tornado is just coming out, and then Monkey Hustle and a bunch of other ones. But before we get into the movie, let's just take a listen to the trailer, familiarize the audience with what we're going to be talking about today.
Damn, look like my women is on time. Baby, I could sure warm you up.
No shit, baby.
I can dig it. Dolomite is my name, and fucking up motherfuckers is my game. Breathing down your neck. Damn! Damn! Girl, this motherfucker's got rhythm, haven't you? I've got an all-girl army that knows what to do. They'll fox as hell and practice kung fu. I put my finger in the ground and turn the whole world around.
You know, you're still the best man that I know in bed.
I'm waiting for Dolomite.
For who? Dolomite, motherfucker, you. And tell him I want him out of here in 24 hours. And 23 of them are already gone. God damn, mama, this sure is a spooky joint. Yes, I'm Dolomite. I'm the one that killed Monday and whooped Tuesday and put Wednesday in the hospital. Called up Thursday to tell Friday not to bury Saturday on Sunday. I'm the one that had the elephants roosting in trees and all the ants wearing BBD. From the first to the last, I give them the blast so fast that their life is past before their ass has even hit the grass. See me, uptown, downtown, crowned and renowned. Delayed, relayed, mislaid, and parlayed. Hatch, match, snatched, and scratched. Whack, jack, smack, crack, blackjack, racetrack, and flapjack, and still coming back. If you crave satisfaction, this is the place to find that action. Coming to this theater as this next attraction is the picture that will put you in traction. Dolomite, starring me, Rudy Ray Moore as Dolomite, and that bad D'Urville Martin as Willie Green. Dolomite, Dolomite.
So we were just talking about how that trailer pretty much shows the first 5 minutes of the movie condensed into about 30 seconds and pretty much gives you all the great lines, which I wouldn't say is a spoiler because you probably wouldn't see it right after seeing the trailer, but it gives you a pretty good idea of the best parts of this movie.
Some of the best parts. It doesn't have every good one line.
No, but we'll definitely get into them. So let me tell you the little bit of trivia I have for this movie, because there's not a ton of it that I had online, believe it or not. I have a lot about the cast, though. At one point, the New York Times did call it the Citizen Kane of blaxploitation films, and I would say that's a good starting point for blaxploitation as Dolomite, because it truly is a great independent piece of art made specifically by black people for black people. Is the one of the origins of blaxploitation, I'd say.
Right on.
It was made mostly by Rudy Ray Moore with a budget of $100,000. Do you know how much this movie made in theaters?
I do, but
$12 million. So this was a massive hit for the time, and it spawned a lot of other movies like it. And Rudy Ray Moore went on to make plenty more movies, including a sequel within 1 year, which is called The Human Tornado, which I always thought was weird that he didn't just call it Dolomite 2. I know people don't like that one nearly as much, but then he went on, didn't make any more Dolomite movies, which was weird. He made other movies, and then I think it was in the 90s, played Dolomite again in the theaters. Well, not in the theaters. He was in an ICP movie as Dolomite.
Insane Clown Posse made a Dolomite movie?
Well, they had Dolomite as a character in a movie, and he played himself.
Okay.
And then in the 2000s, he made like a sequel to Dolomite, like a third sequel to
Was it sponsored?
What do you mean sponsored?
By Fago?
No. He made his own Dolomite sequel.
So we have Dolomite 1975. We have Dolomite ICP 19...
Well, we have Dolomite 1975, Human Tornado 1976.
But that's not a Dolomite movie?
No, it is a Dolomite movie, but it's not called Dolomite 2. Okay. It's called Human Tornado. And if you watch the trailer for Human Tornado, it shows the same still from Dolomite with this title. It just says Rudy Ray Moore is Dolomite. And it shows the exact same freeze frame and everything.
Okay.
It was made, like, this movie was such a big hit that he was like, all right, shit, make a second one right now. Fast track it. And he wasn't wrong. Capitalize on the popularity of it. So let's get into the people who made this movie then.
Okay.
We'll start with D'Urville Martin, director who also plays Willie Green in the movie. Known much more for his acting than directing. Directed only 2 movies, which is Dolomite and 1977's Disco 9000. Plays Willie Green in the movie, like I said, the rival gang leader. Other notable roles, he was in 1967's Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Sidney Poitier. 1968, he was in Rosemary's Baby. 1973 in the movie Black Caesar. Acted in a few more blaxploitation films helmed by Fred Williamson, who's also in Black Caesar, such as Death Journey, The Big Score, and Blind Rage. He passed away, unfortunately, from a heart attack in 1984, only 45. Thinking he would have been in more things, but unfortunately died young. Jerry Jones, screenwriter, also plays the part of Blakely, I guess it is, in the film. It's Blakeley. Is it Blakely or Blackley?
Blackley?
I don't know. 2 writing credits, Dolomite and the sequel, Human Tornado. He did have an acting career. He was in 1973's The Long Goodbye with Elliot Gould, 1979 Disco Godfather, and 1983 Tender Mercenaries. But in the early 2000s, he was known for writing and directing African-American themed plays, such as, you're going to like the title of this one, Girl, I Knew He Was a Dog When He Barked in His Sleep, and Queen of the Blues in the LA area. Several of his plays had nice runs at the Stella Adler Theater in Hollywood and featured up-and-coming African-American actors. He unfortunately passed away in 2012 at the age of 85. Again, the actors, Rudy Ray Moore, who's also the producer of this movie, Dolomite, also shares a writing credit on the film. Now, I have a little bit more info on Rudy Ray Moore. I'll go through his biography here. I got a lot of this from Wikipedia and from other sources. Moore was born in 1927 and raised in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and eventually moved to Cleveland, Ohio, and then Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In Milwaukee, he preached in churches as well as worked as a nightclub dancer. He returned to Cleveland, working in clubs as a singer, dancer, and comedian, often appearing in character as Prince Dumar. He joined the U.S. Army and served in an entertainment unit in Germany, where he was nicknamed the Harlem Hillbilly for singing country songs in an R&B style. He developed an interest in comedy in the Army after expanding on a singing performance for other servicemen. After his discharge, he lived in Seattle, Washington, and then moved to Los Angeles, where he continued to work in clubs and was discovered by a record producer, Dootsy Williams, who recorded rhythm and blues songs for the Federal, Cash, Ball, Kent, and Imperial labels between 1955 and 1962, and then released his first comedy album, Below the Belt, 1959, The Beatnik Scene, 1962, and A Comedian is Born, 1964. The Dolomite character was something he used in his stand-up comedy. It's rumored that he originally got the idea from a homeless man who would rhyme about an urban hero named Dolomite. And he said he got that when he was working at a record store, that this guy would like come in or hang outside the store and tell all these crazy stories about some urban superhero named Dolomite.
I think he paid homage to that guy in the movie, but you remember that guy that was at the hamburger stand that was all...
Oh, you think it might be? It might be. He used all the money he saved from his records to finance the film Dolomite. It ended up being a huge success, but Moore was never a mainstream success like larger comedians such as Richard Pryor or Red Fox at the same time. His material was deemed too raunchy for most audiences, and it kept him out of bigger movie roles. Moore did have a long and successful comedy career despite eluding mainstream fame. He went on to make many other films such as The Human Tornado, The Monkey Hustle, Petey Wheatstraw, Disco Godfather, and many more. He passed away in 2008 from complications from diabetes. He was 81 years old. So he was he's a really like popular underground comic.
He was a comic. It sounded like he was in the beatnik movement, which also probably started the slam poetry that he had through the movie.
Yeah, so like Dolomite or like Rudy Ray Moore is like one of the origins of like hip hop.
Okay.
Because he's like does that slam poetry or urban poetry.
It's what Def Jam was like founded on, was slam poetry.
Yeah,
and
so
then,
like before there was like hip hop beats, they would like do it to jazz, and like it does it in this movie a bunch when they have that performance where he just gets up on stage and basically raps to.
And in the 60s, he was doing it to country songs that he was.
Yeah, so he was doing like R&B versions of like Hank Williams songs, I guess.
I think I want to find that album.
Yeah, well, he had a long career, and so like he was right to just put all his money into making that movie, and it was a huge success for him.
How was his comedy albums?
I think they did really well. I mean, obviously he saved up enough.
100 grand.
100 grand's a lot of money in 1975. I mean, not that it shows necessarily on screen. The production qualities of this movie are not great, but there's quite a bit of action, I guess. And
what would you say set him apart from like Richard Pryor? Because Richard Pryor was raunchy. Richard Pryor was like edgy, super edgy. Richard Pryor had a white wife in the 60s.
Yeah, that's true. But I think, you know what it probably was, is that Rudy Ray Moore's stuff was like super sexually charged.
Yeah.
And the Dolomite character is like a pimp, basically.
Well, the Dolomite movies just seem like if I was given money to make a movie and just put me with a bunch of women.
Yeah. The other person I have here, Lady Reed, who played Queen Bee, an actress who really only starred in Rudy Ray Moore movies. She was also in Dolomite, Human Tornado, Petey Wheatstraw, and Disco Godfather. I can't find really anything else about her. I did find her real name, but I don't think we need to use it. So,
no, it's fine.
I mean,
I would rather call her Queen Bee.
Most of the other people, nothing. And if you look on IMDb, everybody's just listed as Dolomite Girl. Like, they didn't even get credits.
Well, I mean, the acting on this is superb. He must have went down to like Shakespeare in the Park and picked up a few people.
Yeah, you think Shy delivers their lines real well?
Yeah, Shy. It's short for Chicago.
So I'd say we've covered a lot of movies on this podcast from the 70s, and not many of them get up to 100 grand. I mean, Malibu High was 1968, I guess, and that was... Oh, no, I'm sorry, 1978, and that was, I think, $100,000, and I'd say the production values, I guess, would be comparable.
They had that helicopter shot.
I mean, Dolomite is like... I'd say they tried.
I'm watching the movie, I'm trying to figure out where they spent $100,000. Besides, like, renting the expensive cars... Where do you like? I mean, there's a lot of quote unquote
maybe
locations.
Like at least 20 grand on outfits.
Oh my god, those suits were so good.
I guess maybe they rented that club.
Yeah, but I mean that club, and then I know a couple of the other locations which you can get into at the end. But
I'm almost positive the car chases in this movie were like stolen footage.
There's
sure. No
one
way that they paid to block off streets, because you never see a shot that's outside of a car. It's always like either from the back of a windshield, somebody has it, or like sitting in the driver's seat filming the guy.
Yeah, but you have to think it's 1975. It's the Valley. It's not LA. It's not Hollywood. It's this small farming suburb
where you could pretty much get away with everything.
Oh, my dad was racing cars the whole time. Van Nuys Boulevard.
Oh god! Oh, he was the Chooch, the original Chooch.
They used to cruise that all the time. They were doing that when I was in high school.
Your dad was still doing that when you were in high school?
No, I wish.
So he was the Chooch at that point. So let's get in the movie then, Hughes.
Let's start this movie because it starts out fast.
Yeah. So we open in a jail. Cell opens and a guard walks in. He tells Dolomite the warden wants to see him, and Dolomite says,
"Oh shit. What the hell did that rat suit eating motherfucker want with me?"
It was like as soon as he says this line, you know you're in for a treat.
That line set up the movie to where I got excited and I jumped up. But also, like, on my second or third screening of that, just the opening scene, did you notice that there's like this door?
Yeah, I got it.
And then like this guy walks and his head gets chopped off.
Yeah, for some reason they like place the camera in the jail, like behind like a something, I guess. I didn't even know what it is.
I have no idea what it was, but it threw me off the second watching. In the first one, I was enthralled with what was going on because this guy jumps up and he like tosses everything off his lap.
Yeah, and I'm not sure because I don't know if the Blu-ray version is in full screen because the DVD version I have is in full screen.
No, it's in a.
So it is in widescreen.
No, it's
it is
4:3.
full screen. Okay,
yeah, full screen.
Because then when you're inside the cell, you can clearly see a lighting flag in the shot. Oh my god, it takes up a third of the top of the screen. When you're in the cell, you can see the felt hanging below. I don't know if it was like, because I was all, well, maybe, infamously when they released the Lord of the Rings movies on DVD, the full screen versions, you could see like telephone poles in shots because they were meant to be framed out, and they never did the digital removal of them because they figured, well, why the hell would we ever need that? But then it got released and people were like, oh, you can see telephone poles, you can see shit you weren't supposed to see. So I didn't know if it was supposed to be cropped at some point, but no, if it's 4:3, it's not.
It's 4:3. I mean, most of the movie when I'm looking for that kind of stuff, because the first watch I'm watching just the movie. The second watch, like, I know this part, so I'm going to look around and I see more of the boom mic.
Oh god, Mr. Boom he's a character in this movie. Trust me, I have it in the notes every time he makes an appearance. They should have credited him.
They should have, and it's cool because he's not only on top, but he's also on the bottom. Yeah. Like, he's all over the place.
At least for the most part, the audio is recorded decently well. How could it not, considering the boom mic's about an inch from everybody's mouth? Oh god.
I mean, you notice in the whole movie, like, everything is delivered as one line once and gone.
I feel like Rudy Ray Moore never did a second take.
No.
His line deliveries in this movie are always incredible. I don't think he can act, but I mean, he pulls it off.
I mean, if he's doing a character from his stand-up and that's what the character is, that's acting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I would love to see him outside of the Dolomite character to see how much of it is him and how much isn't. Because I don't think all of it's him.
Everything I've ever seen of him on any interview or anything, he talks exactly the same in real life as he does in this movie. And he has the same mannerisms and everything.
Okay, never mind. He's perfect.
So we go to the warden's office. The warden, he welcomes Dolomite in. And we meet Queen Bee, who's Dolomite's confidant, partner, assistant in his hooker ring.
We call her the bottom bitch in the industry.
Thanks for that technical term, Hughes. The warden says, for 2 years, Queen has been bugging him about how Dolomite is innocent. We'll get to that, though. So he tells Dolomite he has a way to get him out of jail. And we find out Dolomite is serving a 20-year sentence for stealing furs and $500,000 worth of narcotics. And I loved how I wrote this. I wonder if the furs were a bigger charge because he named them furs, and it seemed like an odd crime. Like furs?
Yeah. And where did he steal them from? Like, is one shoplifting or commercial burglary?
He go to the garment district and take some furs or something? Or I couldn't understand that. Also, when you see the way that Dolomite dresses in this movie, I'm not surprised he was stealing furs. And I don't think he was stealing them to sell them. I think he was just stealing them for himself.
I don't think that I didn't get it. Because immediately they cut the scene to a car rolling up.
Yeah. Well, this is what I love about this movie, is that they wouldn't just rely on like exposition to be told to you. They do use flashbacks, and they're probably some of the best parts of the whole movie. No,
they have in this beginning scene, the first 5 minutes, we have a flashback and we have a flash jump, which isn't really a flashback, but it like just happened, and then they da 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 da. So the flashback they cut, and it doesn't even look like a flashback. I'm just somehow teleported in front of a house and watching this old beat up car roll up to it.
Because you're saying there's no like woo?
No, there's no woo. The next cut has a woo to show you that you're going in this weird direction.
Oh, you're right. There is like a little wave between the past
when
and the present.
When his nephew gets killed.
But you're right. So in this one, it just goes, okay, so let's get to this one. It goes, you stole some furs and some narcotics, and then it just cuts to outside of a house.
It cuts to outside of a house. So you have these cars rolling in.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on, and some cop runs out and hides in a bush.
The portly cop goes to the skinny cop, get behind the tree, and the portly one goes behind a shrub. It's not a bush. This thing is a shaped shrub. And the second he gets behind, it's like, cue Dolomite. Because they're like...
so they wait for him for no seconds. Like, it's literally the cars pull up and Dolomite walks out. And he goes to the front of his house, and then all of a sudden the cops just run up from their hiding spots. They didn't even need to hide.
No.
And they just go, all right, open it up. It's the FBI. Dolomite's outfit, by the way. Okay, I wrote down high-waisted pants. The color scheme is like a black and white checkerboard. And he has a shirt that looks like it has a giant bib on it.
On the back, you mean? Has the bib?
No, this is the one with like the front bib.
Oh. Okay.
And like then he has like these big white squares on his sleeves, and he's wearing like a checkered beanie. He looks like a dance floor, like a black and white, like a diner. He looks like the floor
I'll
of a
go with
diner.
that. Yeah. And he's just walking out of his house to his car.
We don't know where he's going or anything. It's just... All right, so then you guys hide and I'll just walk out. Dialogue delivery, so amazing. I'm going to play it all, but I'll go ahead and go through it here. They ask him to open the trunk.
There's nothing in my trunk, man.
Demand to open it. He does. There's stuff in there. This is, by the way, this is maybe my favorite line of the whole movie, is they open the trunk and then he like picks up the furs and finds a brick of cocaine, and Dolomite immediately, well no, before he even picks it up, he just goes, that shit ain't mine. I don't know how it got there.
That shit ain't mine. I don't know how it got there.
And then at this point, we don't know if he is actually set up. And I can't believe you skipped over.
You never find if he's set up.
No, you never find out if he's set up. But you skipped the line with the guy coming out that comes in and goes, I'm the FBI, and like flashes his like pack of cigarettes. But he doesn't say FBI. And he doesn't say like open the trunk. He doesn't speak English.
Just comes up and goes. But I just love how Dolomite, he's not even surprised. So that's why it makes me think he wasn't set up at all, because he just goes, there's nothing in my trunk, and then he opens it and goes, that shit ain't mine. I ain't never seen it. He has no reaction, like absolutely no emotion or anything. He's not even surprised it's in there.
No, and then he goes, turn around, you're under arrest, and then that starts it.
Yeah. Okay,
don't ever arrest Dolomite.
Yeah, okay. So he tries to arrest him and he goes,
you're going to have to take me.
And then a wonderfully choreographed fight scene, very slow. I love when he kicks the fat guy into the trunk, which is so planned. It's like, all right, and 1, 2, 3, fall in.
I like did you notice that when they kicked the skinny guy, not the foreign guy, not the fat guy, the skinny guy over the bush, they came back over the bush from a POV.
Yeah.
Of the guy.
There's a lot of like POV in this movie, which is really weird. Which there's one scene where we have to see the POV of Dolomite above us, which is like, oh, I wish they had left that out.
That was for the ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie's got everything for the men and for the ladies, you know?
So, I mean, like, then he's arrested.
Yeah,
they somehow
get
got the upper hand.
And then 2 other cops show up.
No, one other cop shows up. He rolls
that's right.
in that
this time it's only one cop.
It's only one cop. He rolls up in the car.
Yeah, some other guy just randomly shows up. We don't know who he is. He doesn't present credentials or anything. In fact, at this point, we don't even know if he's a cop.
No, we have no idea.
He walks up and immediately gets racist. Because he walks over to Dolomite, who's like standing by the car.
He pats him on the belly. He goes,
well, goodbye, boy. You're off to a long, long vacation.
And Dolomite goes,
I got your boy hanging. You no business born insecure junkyard motherfucker.
I just love it.
I love this first scene just because then the foreign guy goes, you said take on me.
The nigga you said would take an army to capture?
You're convinced that this guy's not even American. Like,
he's not. He has like 3 lines later in the movie. I can prove that he's not American.
So they take him away. The cop who just randomly shows up goes over to his car, and he looks in the window. He goes right on schedule to somebody sitting in the back seat, and we see it's Willie Green.
We don't know it's Willie Green. He doesn't say, "Hey, Willie Green." It's just some guy in the back of the car.
Well, oh, you're right. They haven't done the credits yet. Because this movie is one of those movies that does the credits like after 10 minutes, which I love. It's Willie Green, all right. But we see this guy and he says, all right, let's go celebrate. Go back to the warden's office. The warden tells Dolomite the dope trafficking has gotten worse in his area since he's been in jail. Gotten worse.
That's how he knows that Dolomite was innocent, because it's only gotten worse and they're selling drugs and guns to the kids.
We're gonna get into this because this is what's about to happen is the worst idea I've ever heard.
No, it's perfect. They've done this idea before. Go.
Okay.
Or they did it in the future.
Guns and dope are being sold to school children every day, and black gangs are killing each other. Queen Bee interjects and says that a gang killed Dolomite's nephew the other day, which we see in the quick flashback, which we actually see like a wave cut for this one. Why we didn't see it before is very weird. And we see the drive-by. And Dolomite, he stands up and he takes this all in. They killed little Jimmy. Oh, Queen Bee says they killed little Jimmy. He wasn't bothering nobody.
He was walking home with his girlfriend from school.
Yeah, he's just walking home. Which we find out later, little Jimmy was not so innocent, but we'll get to that later. So he wants to know what he's supposed to do.
But can you talk about this scene when they come into Dolomite and you're looking at his face and he's delivering these lines? Do you notice that like he has the world's brightest light in his eyes? Oh, yeah. Because his eyes are closed.
Yeah, like
and he is sweating.
There, like just... It's got like a 5K light shining right at him with no softbox or anything, just like trying to squint his way.
And he is just pouring sweat and he can't see. And I'm like, that's all I was thinking about in this first.
Yeah, so like a man's scene. Eyes. Maybe he stood up just to get the light out of his eyes. Like, I'm gonna get out of here. So the warden tells them they know who's responsible and there might even be cops involved. And I was like, well, if you know who's responsible, maybe, internal affairs. I mean, get something.
No. We need to put a plot in this movie, and we're going to do it right away.
And he goes, okay, there are only 4 people that are going to know you're out of jail. Know why he's out of jail, because everybody's going to know he's out of jail. The governor, who we never meet, him, the warden, Queen Bee, and an FBI man nobody knows, quote, until the time comes, which we know right away, but I guess it's not officially. All right, what does that mean when the time comes?
I don't know, but you know what? I was watching this scene, and I'm like, now I know how they came up with The Departed. This is how The Departed starts.
Somebody watched Dolomite. You know The Departed's a remake.
Is it?
Yeah.
So did Dolomite steal it from the remake?
I believe it's. I think it's Japanese, or it might be Korean. Is a movie called Infernal Affairs, and it's Departed's a remake of that movie. So maybe Dolomite did real popular overseas. Rip it off.
I mean, a black kung fu movie would be super popular in certain areas.
Could be. So the warden tells him you're getting out tomorrow. And I wrote, this seems like a terrible idea. Why would the warden be involved in local police matters, for one? Doesn't make any fucking sense. So, like, the jail warden is somehow worried about drugs on the outside of the jail?
Yeah, because it's filling up his jail. The people that they're arresting and bringing in that he doesn't think are that guilty.
Okay, but
because
why
Queen
would
Bee...
Okay, more like maybe the police chief should be involved. Why would the warden be involved with breaking up this gang?
Because he's ground zero. Where do you think they all come?
You're making too many excuses.
I actually bought this.
You think a warden would be involved in local police matters?
I don't think it's local. I think it's global. Because they're talking drugs, they're talking
furs,
guns, and furs.
And why would the governor want a rival gang leader out of jail to stop another gang leader?
I have no idea. And I just
and I wrote, Dolomite was selling drugs and apparently furs, but I guess the furs are better than guns, so maybe that. But I mean, he's still a drug dealer and a known pimp.
Yeah, and then he goes, do you know this Willie Green? He goes, I don't know who you're talking about. So why do you even let him out anyways?
Well, he tells the warden, he's like, I know what Willie Green is. But later in the movie, people ask him, and he'd be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But if anything, like, Dolomite's going to agree to anything, because he's like, okay, I get out of jail, all right, whatever.
Because he can't afford the bail.
Now, by the way, the warden doesn't say, like, okay, Dolomite, we're, like, deputizing you or something like that. You have free reign to murder whoever you want. Just keep that in mind. Because he never says, like, what the limits of this are.
But I thought that this was more of a setup to get him. He couldn't afford bail, so he's still going to go to trial for these drugs and these furs.
It said he was serving 20 years.
Maybe, I don't know, because it says like you can't afford bail. And like if you're serving 20, you can't afford bail.
But we know he can't afford bail because he could have just told, because he has money sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
So before Dolomite leaves, the warden asks him if he knows who Willie Green is. Oh, that's what he goes. And then he looks away almost at the camera, and then we get incredible credit sequence, which this great song plays that we're going to play. And we get the opening credits where it introduces all our main players.
And it's spoken word rap song telling you the plot of what's going on.
Rudy Ray Moore tells you the whole story, which I like. I think this is a really creative way of getting out exposition that we don't need. Like, why have it? You know, put it in the credits.
And he's like, I need to put credits into this movie anyways. Might as well use it productively because I only have so much time.
Yeah, and he gets a great song out of it.
Some folks say that Willie Green was the baddest motherfucker the world ever seen. But I want you to hold on to your seat. Hold on to them tight. Cause you now getting ready to see the story of me. Yes, me, the badass Dolomite.
Oh, he's bad. The man is out of sight. He's a tough son of a gun, y'all.
But what I loved about the credits were the freeze frames that they use for these main players are literally the worst frame. Because the one they use for Rudy Ray Moore is like he's in the middle of like a sex act or something, and he has this like look on his face, like he looks like he has Down syndrome when it stops on.
Yeah, but that's his serious face.
It's like he's like one of his eyes is open and the other one is kind of squinting, and then when it stops on Derville Martin, it's the same thing. He's like
he's all scared.
And the priest too, the reverend, is just like mid whip with his weird whip he carries everywhere. It's seriously the worst freeze frames you could have picked. So we go outside the prison gates, and probably one of if not the best scene in the entire movie. A limo pulls up, and these ladies get out, and then the guard opens the gate, and Dolomite walks out
in a brown plain suit that actually looked really good.
Hold on, I have this written down, and I can't wait to get to that. The first thing he says is,
"Damn, look like my women is on time."
Even though Dolomite is wearing a weird outfit with, like I said, either a derby hat or like a political convention hat. It's, you know what I mean? It's like a flat brimmed.
The hat was weird, but the suit was like normal for the time. If you're like a brown business suit with bell bottoms.
Yeah, but okay, he obviously picked out this outfit.
No, maybe it was like one of those ones that his lawyer gave him for the trial.
Okay, the jail would not provide this suit.
I don't know. I don't remember the jail, man.
Because this is when no. So Dolomite, he's so happy because they brought him a change of clothes, and the guards are watching him change. He decides to change right in the middle of the street, so he starts taking off all his clothes, gets all the way down to his underwear, and he says something about how the guards gave him those clothes. I wrote a suit and a weird hat, like they just have this stuff lying around the jail. But if anything, why would they give him a hat? Like, makes no sense.
But I like the little part that they had, like, I don't wear no cotton drawers.
Oh, yeah, so
you were arguing about the underwear.
He's very happy because he has one white girl in the limo
who's the raunchy, dirtiest one there. Like, her first lines are just filthy.
She rolls out the window and goes, "Hey." He's like, "Yeah," and she hands him a pair of underwear, and that's when he says the line you brought up.
"Bitch, you bring me these goddamn cotton drawers. You know I don't wear no fucking cotton drawers."
So he doesn't like cotton.
Apparently, polyester's the only thing for him.
Yeah, polyester. Like, what type of underwear is there? Like satin, I guess? Silk. Oh, silk drawers, huh? He don't wear no fucking cotton. Get that shit out of here. So then
you know what? That makes a lot of sense. He would be against cotton, especially for a black power movie.
Oh, that makes sense. That's an interesting point I never thought about. Huh.
Which is why they would push polyester.
There you go. So he puts on probably the craziest baby blue suit I've ever seen.
I absolutely love that suit.
Complete with this oversized bow tie and hat. Of course, he always has a hat. Whenever he goes out on the town, he's got a hat on. It's right out of that like American Pimp movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, they obviously modeled their dress after Dolomite because he dresses insane.
But I don't get like why We don't know much about that time period where they have the pimp outfits. Did everybody wear the pimp outfits? Like, did our parents wear it when they went out to the disco?
Maybe because all the other guys are dressed in crazy outfits. Like Willie Green always has that crazy fedora type hat on.
But he's in like a more of a traditional brown polyester suit with maybe like different colors.
But he has like, I swear to God, Willie Green wears a hat with like a feather coming out the top.
I hope he does.
He has like a Three Musketeer hat. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
one of those big, like he's about to pull out a sword.
Lynx hat.
Yeah. So Dolomite puts on his baby blue suit with the highest waisted pants maybe in history. They go all the way up to the nipples.
And they're making a big to do about, I want to get rid of this suit and I want to get into this nice clean suit.
He's got to get out of that jail suit. That
Immediately.
Pretty nice jail suit. Immediately into his blue suit. And he's like, oh, I like this when he's putting it on and everything.
Oh, I like these. Oh, who made this?
He takes the clothes, his other clothes, he throws them at the guards and he goes,
You guard, I want you to take these cheap motherfuckers and wipe your ass with them.
Oh no, Dolomite. We'll keep him here. You'll be back.
So he's getting he's getting out of jail for free, but still has quite the attitude. I go, maybe they're starting to regret their decision.
Maybe he actually was innocent, and he's still pissed that he had to be there.
Well, I did realize that it wasn't like he was wrongly accused. He is a criminal and a drug dealer. It was only a matter of time, Chris. It was only a matter of time. Because as we find out, he is running a full-on brothel.
Yeah, but I don't remember part of the movie with drugs where he was pushing drugs.
You know, it never shows him selling drugs, which I thought was actually good.
Yeah, he's a pimp, but you know, we call that like the oldest profession in the world, victimless crime, blah, 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 blah. Is it as bad as a drug dealer / gun dealer?
No, I would say no.
Give me all the pimps, all the nice pimps with his women's over all the drugs and guns.
But those furs.
Oh, God. Do you realize how expensive it is to put these prostitutes in these furs? If there's anything I learned from the 70s is they all wore those like tank top furs with the sleeves cut off. That's what they wore on the streets with big heels and the goldfish in them.
The goldfish. You know, the thing is though, he's still a criminal.
Yeah,
but they act like he's like so innocent all the time. It's like, well, no. I mean, you're not fully innocent. You're still breaking the law.
Absolutely.
You're not as bad as Willie Green. I'll give him that. So the guard says, yeah, they'll keep your clothes because you'll be back. Dolomite laughs and drives off. We go in the limo, and even though he took forever to put on those clothes, and I mean forever, it's a good 3 minutes watching him change.
It's a full scene.
The ladies immediately take them off. They sit in the back seat, and they just start, unbuttoning and everything, getting busy. And then they drive past a car, and these thugs are in this car, and they say, we want him dead. And the other guy goes, what about the broads? And the guy goes, forget him. And I was like, well, wait, what does that mean? Forget him, like kill him or
leave him alone?
Yeah, like what does that mean? I feel like that's not
obviously it meant leave him alone. Let them be,
I guess. So Dolomite realizes he's being tailed, and he asks for his piece. They pull the car over. We cut to a road. He runs out of limo and he gets in these bushes with a machine gun. The other car pulls up to the parked limo, but Dolomite's not in the car anymore. They're saying he's not here. Well, where is he? Love this part. You remember this?
I'm right here or something like that.
He's not here.
Well, where is he?
Breathing down your neck.
Did you notice though it was so weirdly cut as they go? So the guys walk up to the car, and then there's I think there's a shot of Dolomite already out.
Is he already out behind the other car?
Yeah, he's behind them.
Well, I mean, if you watch the position of those cars, first off, when they stop, the cop car pulls up right next to him. And then by the end of the scene, the cop car is like...
Oh, you're right. It's across the street.
Across the street and down.
I love how he does this because they go, well, where is he? They're talking to the hookers and they're like, he's not here. And then Rudy Ray Moore just jumps out from behind them with the machine gun and goes breathing down your neck. And before he even finishes the line, starts shooting, which I thought was great.
Now, when I watched that scene, are those two of those three cops the ones that were behind the bush in the tree?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I didn't notice that. But I'll tell you this. I thought there was 4 guys originally in the car, and he only kills 3 of them. in this part.
Was there 4 in when they when they drove
God,
by?
when
There was 4.
I swear to God, when they drove by, there was 4 guys in the car.
Because when they pull up, there's only 3.
Yeah.
Different days. One had to go pick up his shift at the Piggly Wiggly.
One guy's like, I'm gonna take a leak. Can you drop me off? You guys take care of it.
And then they go, "Can you dance?"
Okay, can't wait.
Got rhythm.
So he goes, "Breathing down your neck." Shoots 2 of them dead, and then here's you said. He goes,
"All right, hold it. Move, girls. Come here. Come here, girls. I've been wanting to see me a honky dance. Dance, motherfucker, dance! Dance!"
He starts shooting the feet, and then the guy immediately takes off his leather jacket and throws it. And
he's giving him a good show.
Oh yeah, give him a dance. Oh, this boy's got rhythm.
But I love it as Dolomite doesn't even pause. It's in the middle of him shooting the ground. He just decides, I'm going to just shoot the fucker. And starts firing at him.
Which on the Blu-ray is a lot more clear what's going on than when I watched the standard edition.
Oh, you could barely tell he's getting shot?
I couldn't tell that he got shot. I just
because he's moving too much though. This guy hamming it up when he's getting shot. He's taking forever to die. He gets shot once in the chest and he's like, ah, kind of dancing
his
around.
His death rattle is a boogie.
Yeah. It reminded me of the Dangerous Men scene, another movie we covered, when the guy just took forever to die after being.
Don't ever bring that movie up again.
You actually watched that one?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so happy. And so Dolomite's been out of jail for 3 minutes and has already killed 3 men. And this is what I said. The warden didn't say oh, well, just murder whoever you want.
No,
he just murdered police officers.
But he needed to stay alive. He's got things.
So even if he didn't commit a crime before, he has now just killed 3 men. And one of them didn't have a gun anymore. He made him dance.
No, it's not murder. It's self-defense. They were after him.
I would say cruel and unusual with the dancing part.
Well,
he was no longer a threat. I'm saying is Dolomite is not an innocent man. The more that time goes on, we learn he'll break the law plenty in this movie. But, it's calmed down now. We're at Dolomite's house. By the way, amazingly decorated house. Mm-hmm. Never seen so many mirrors in my life.
I don't know where they would find a spot like this unless he actually owned it. That was his palace.
Oh,
after
maybe,
all of the comedy albums.
It was. But the weird thing is we'll never see the outside of the house again.
No.
We only saw it that one shot, and it doesn't look like it was the same house, but I don't know. So Dolomite, he's talking to Queen Bee. She's catching him up on the state of affairs. She says one of the dancers left to Willie Green, and they've also lost the club to him. She says her and the girls have resorted to selling themselves on the corner to try to get enough money to get Dolomite out. So I guess you're right about maybe they didn't bail him out and he hasn't even gone to trial yet for the stuff.
But that wasn't...
The warden said she's been bugging him for 2 years.
You're looking for continuity that isn't there. But then in that same scene, they're talking about we sold ourselves on the street to pay for the house to stay in, but we lost the club in that time, and then this one girl left. That was that scene. That was the whole. I mean, it's a 5-minute scene of 3 minutes of content.
There is a lot of exposition that's handled at a breakneck pace in that part. You get caught up real quick, and if you're not paying attention, you'll have no fucking clue what's going on.
Because the next scene will be. It's not introduced properly. There's no establishing shot of hey, we've moved to this location. It's just close up of somebody's face, pan out to this new area.
Well, the next scene is Queen Bee says when Dolomite was in the joint, she got his girls karate lessons. Then it's a flashback, but it's handled in a way where we don't know it's a flashback.
That was a flashback? I had no idea.
Okay, so we cut to a flashback of a hooker. And she says, this part, by the way, this guy in this scene,
Joe,
amazingly delivered lines. And I'm going to play him here. But this guy, I feel like he had it was a couple takes.
I think Joe was just good because he was convincing. And you know what? It was a convincing. Do you consider those to be flashbacks or do you consider those to be
no, it's
visual?
A flashback because then at the end of this one, it goes, woo, 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 it does the wave back.
The wave back?
Yeah.
But it didn't do it in.
No, it just cuts to a hooker on a bed and she goes, what happened to my $100, Joe? Did you take my money?
That's right, little bitch. I took it back. You ain't worth no $100. I am Joe Blow, the lover man. You should be paying me, bitch.
Give me my money, man.
Shit, what money? Shit, I get cut like you all day, a dime a dozen. Shit. Here's $2. Go get you some dish powder and keep it clean for me next time.
He gives her $2.
Okay, yeah. So she goes, "Can I have my money?" And he goes, he gives her $2 and tells her to get some dish powder to keep it clean for him the next time.
You misheard, man.
What'd he say?
Douche.
Oh, douche. Some douche powder to keep it clean next time. I love that part though. She goes, "Give me my $100." He goes, "Shit, here's $2."
You ain't worth no $100.
So she kicks his ass, rightfully so. And then we go, woo, woo, woo,
that
back
scene
to
makes
the
a lot
present.
more sense. That was showing how effective the karate lessons have been.
Yes.
Okay. I had no idea why that scene was being shown.
You were just like, oh, okay, I guess we're here now.
They're just taking care of themselves. They're like, hey, we don't really need you. We take care of ourselves. But, you know, it's happy to have you home.
I'm pretty sure then it goes back quickly to Dolomite's house, but I have it written. The next scene is at Willie Green's, quote, massage parlor.
Oh, with the girls screaming at the front?
Yeah, so Willie Green, we watch him get out of a car for like 3 minutes outside and then slowly walk in a building, which we could have just went in the building. He walks inside to check out his business. Yeah, this lady,
she's mean.
She comes up and she's like, "Oh, hey, Willie, it's good to see you." And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, not now." And then she just starts going off like,
"You always got business somewhere else when it comes to me, nigga. That's the trouble with you black motherfuckers.
Hey, Flo.
You get a fucking bitch in your corner and you always want to fuck all over her."
And then, do you like that part where the girl behind the counter is like, "Hey, hey, hey." And she turns around and there's a customer.
You're like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah, like the guy's like,
Flo.
Hello, sweetheart. Can I help you?
I'd like a massage. Please.
Well, I think the third door on the right will be your favor.
she's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "Oh, I get a massage." "Oh, yeah, come on in."
Yeah, third door on the left.
But then, okay, so Willie Green walks through.
So that's weird, right? So we have Willie Green, he walks by. Then they continue this scene with like this ad-lib angry moment to another customer, and then they're showing that it is an actual brothel. The cut comes to now we're following Willie Green. And like,
yeah, so
the time doesn't make sense. Because he's just opening the door and going through, and she's not screaming in the back.
Opening a door, or just no doors are ever closed in this brothel, apparently, which was so insane. So he walks down this hall, which is supposed to be a massage parlor that you'd think they'd want to like keep it secret. He walks down this hall, and every door is open, and he's with women like mid-sex acts.
He's enjoying the work that they're working.
Yeah, he's got this big smile on his face, like,
that guy's having a good time.
Keep it going, guys. I'm just checking in. Keep the doors open, no problem. Don't even worry. But I know you and we both have the favorite room. That guy in the steam box. Do you remember? Okay, so this guy sitting in a steam box that looks like almost like that guy from Star Trek when he was in that computer body thing. Like his head's coming out of this box, and there's a woman.
You're talking about Brent Spiner coming out of the box as Data?
Like, do you remember? You don't remember this scene?
No, I was watching this scene at work. So, like, it got to the first room where that guy's like being double tugged,
and you're like, okay, I gotta.
I gotta go through here.
The next scene he goes to is there's a room where a guy's sitting in a full steam box with just his head popping out of this box and a woman on her knees in front of it, and he's just got a smile on his face.
So it looks like a guy with a head and like a cereal box pounding a girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But she's like got her head in the box. It's the weird. It's like, what? I don't even know.
That's
like,
a weird fetish.
It was really weird. I was wondering if it was running. What's going on?
I'll have to go rewatch that scene at home.
Oh God. So we go back to Dolomite's house, which this scene is so fucking useless. This is like called runtime.
Yeah. Is this him changing?
No, this is just when he goes back. And one of the ladies is waiting for him in his room. and they just drink some cognac and kiss. Nothing happens. And I couldn't figure out what lady this is. I think it's Shy. Okay, so we learn about Shy, by the way, who is like a main character for some reason.
In the next scene, right?
No, we learned about, I didn't write it down, but she's in the part when he gets out of jail. Because he goes, oh, I haven't seen you before. And she goes, my name's Shy for Chicago. And he says something about, you're better than the Windy City or something.
Yeah, Blu-ray was not nice to her.
Shy, by the way, her line deliveries are insane.
I just want to get to the Willie Green's club with her line delivery because
my god,
it's the same line.
She says her name Shy a lot, and she says the same. It's like she remembered that one line. Gotta repeat it. So we go to the parking lot. This is my favorite scene of the whole movie. We don't know where we are, why we're here.
No,
but we're just in a parking lot, and Dolomite's just about to get into his car, and he's stopped by 2 cops. So one of the cops is the one who patted his belly when he was getting arrested originally, and there's another guy, curly-haired guy, and we know the belly pat guy's working with Willie Green.
Yeah.
So this is the first introduction of our good friend Mr. Boom. Makes a very prominent appearance in this scene. So Boom Mike, I would say, is like an inch away from seeing the whole pole. It's so far dipped into frame, and the fact that nobody like told him, all right, whoa, cut.
You can just tell that guy's getting tired. Like he's been there all day out in the sun.
Maybe they're like, I can't hear him. Put it lower.
That's the other thing. Like his audio is really good when Dolomite speaks. It sounds like he's like a lav mic on top of him.
It almost sounds like he ADR'd every line.
Yeah,
it's
right?
so clear. So they come up to him, and Dolomite says,
man, move over and let me pass. Supposed to have to be pulling these hush puppies out your motherfucking ass.
I've played this for people now, and they don't realize what it means. Hush puppies were a shoe.
They
a
had
brand of shoe.
They're a brand of shoe that, like Snoop Dogg re-released hush puppy things, but a lot of people in the South, our hush puppies are that breaded fish thing, right?
Oh, I think. Are you talking about? Yeah, hush puppies is like a deep fried cornbread ball
with fish in the middle. I think.
Not that I've had.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up. But yeah, so I mean, like, I don't know if he's talking about his shoe because he's not.
No,
wearing...
he looks at his shoes.
Yeah, but he's not wearing hush puppies.
He does look at his shoe. But apparently, in this scene that I read, he's supposed to be buying food.
He was going to the market to buy.
I don't know. This is so. It's just like,
and you notice like they never do like the pulling over scenes ever. Like they're just stopped. Hey, what up?
It's like every time the cops catch Dolomite, you're right. They just go, "Hey, what's up? We found you." So the cop pulls out a gun, and he tells him to put his hands on his head, and he uses the term "boy," and they use this a lot, and it's like Jesus. But here's the thing: what did he do?
Nothing.
They're
just harassing him.
But the cop pulls out a gun, Chris. He doesn't like pull out a badge or anything. He just goes, all right, put your hands on your head, and pulls out a revolver like he's going to shoot him in this parking lot.
Because he wants him to like fight back, I guess. I don't know.
So they search him, and then the curly-haired cop pulls out a bag of cocaine from his own pocket and goes, oh, look what we found. And the other cop takes it and just starts snorting it right in the parking lot. And they were real sloppy, leave some on his face.
They were going to plant this, but then they're going to use it, and then they're not like stopping him from doing anything. He's just standing there being like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, because, you know, this is the routine. He's had this happen before because he says another frame up. So I guess our clue is like the original time must have been a frame up.
I'm telling you, I don't think he deals with drugs. I think anytime that drugs are involved, he doesn't deal with it.
You're right. There's no other parts with him dealing with drugs.
There's other parts with him dealing with drugs, but never him directly like, I'm going to sell drugs, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. So the cops tell him, all right, you need to move on. And they keep calling him boy over and over, which...
And they're all white.
Yeah, and it's like, Jesus, you can't wait for Dolomite to just kick some ass. But one of the cops tells him one more thing, punches him right in the gut. And I love this is like... So you could tell that Rudy Ray Moore was like, oh, no. Anytime Dolomite ever gets like kind of hurt, he's never really hurt. Because he like kind of bends over and he's like, oh. And then as soon as the cops walk off, he just stands up like, that didn't hurt me. Like, not at all. Like it's some wrestler, you know, like he stands up and just brushes it off like it's nothing.
He's got heart, man. He's got heart. He's all heart.
He runs over, kicks their asses in the funniest fight scene of the movie.
It was so good.
So go ahead.
All the way through. He kicks them, and then like one gets slammed into the door. The other one goes face first into the asphalt. And then like the cop had the drugs, so Dolomite walks over.
Well, okay, before that part, not one of these punches or kicks even comes within a foot of landing. There is a part when he roundhouse kicks the guy at the door. You can get a freeze frame of this.
Yeah.
His foot is a good, like, foot and a half away from his face.
Well, I mean, like that's why he's not wearing hush puppies. Hush puppies are these soft shoes. He's wearing these hard shoes, and these are like non-trained stunt people, karate people, yes, but a lot of them were, but they're not trained, so they're doing these fake kicks, and he's trying to move the camera enough to where you won't see it.
Oh, this is so obvious. Like
so
nothing even comes even remotely close.
But they sold it. I mean, they sold it.
Yeah,
as
they
well
sold
as,
it well.
As anybody else.
Okay, so what's he do? He takes that Coke.
He takes out that Coke bag and just like dumped it on him, and then
I love that. He just like dumps it all over him. Like they look like a fucking powdered donut.
And he gets it all over his nice brown suit. And he walks over to the other one and takes the bag and shoves it into his mouth.
And he goes,
"That's for fucking with me, you no business born insecure motherfuckers."
Which you love that line.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Can you break it down? What is no business born?
No business born insecure. So, but he says it all as one sentence.
Yeah.
It should be no business, comma, born insecure, comma, motherfucker. Or maybe no comma before motherfucker, but no business, born insecure, motherfucker.
And this is where I think I took a point in the movie. And if you watch his eyes, I think when he's being super serious is when he squints. Because there's no reason for him to squint this time. Like it's all blocked. And he's squinting.
Maybe they got that reflector in his eye.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
They will later.
No, the rest of the movie he's always squinting his eyes, like super squinting. And like everybody else, like wide-eyed. He is super
You can barely see his eyes. So we go to the church, which we get the first introduction of another major character 20 minutes in, which is going to be the Reverend. And he's talking about Watergate to his congregation, which, by the way, I'm going to say something later in this. I can't figure out what type of religion he's supposed to be.
Oh, I know what it was.
What?
Free-loving. It was a
That's
free
not
love.
a religion.
It was a like a 1970s version of just like it's not religious to God, it's religious to people.
Okay,
And
because
it's
later in the movie,
but it's
I
also a
swear to
front.
God, he's wearing a turban.
No,
when he goes to the club later in the movie, he's wearing a full turban with like the Muslim moon and star on it.
It could be a start of the Brotherhood. But
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying, but I couldn't figure out what he was because
but
he's wearing like a dashiki or something.
He's wearing the chic and he's wearing that God, was it Jazz from Prince of Bel-Air with that little hat? The single hat,
he's got the hat on, and he always carries this like horsetail whip.
The one that Eddie Murphy had in Coming to America
Oh my God.
on the train.
So what is that? It's just some whip?
Well, no, it's in Africa. It's to brush off the flies.
But he's carrying this around the whole movie. Everywhere he goes, the club, everywhere, he's got this little whip with him.
It's just something like
there must be a big fly problem.
No. It's a cultural thing. Like he's connected to Mother Africa and that kind of stuff. But the whole thing's a front, anyways, for gun smuggling.
Yeah. So okay, before we even get into that, he's talking to his congregation, which there's only a few people there.
No, it's not a congregation. It is a meeting for the power.
Because he goes on and he says something about he's talking about Watergate, and he says if the leader of our country is stealing and getting away with it, what are they supposed to do about it? And it's like, yeah, no shit. The cops that got beat up show up at the church, and they walk in. And then the Reverend like completely changes his tune. He's like, "Oh Lord,
thank you," because they have to like. He was talking bad about the police and white people.
Yeah, which you find out they have every right to the way they're treated in this movie.
Absolutely.
The cops walk in, totally changes his tune. They ask him where Dolomite is, and I'm like thinking to myself, maybe check his fucking house. You know, that's the one thing is they're always walking around being like, "Where's Dolomite?" why'd you check his goddamn house?
No, that's
because there's only 2 places he ever goes in this movie: his house and that club.
Yeah, but you need to establish other characters because
yeah, of course. But
other things happen.
They could have had something else to do with it because as you'll find out, the Reverend's a little bit more has his fingers on a lot of pies. You know,
oh, he's got his fingers everywhere.
So the cops ask him where he is. Then they start looking around, and the curly-haired cop opens up a closet.
Yeah, but then he asks, he's like, "What's in there?"
And he goes, "Hey, preacher, what do you have in here?" And he goes, "Just some old clothes for the poor." And then he opens it, and
there's just like this case like that's standing up. The first thing you see in the
like
door,
something out of like Vietnam or something, like
something out of like Lord of War, like Nicolas Cage,
like somebody gun running, like.
And the cop immediately pulls out his gun and just shoots.
Okay, by the way, there's no lock on this thing.
I didn't see a lock. It was just a latch.
He shoots the box.
Look, the last thing I want to do is lock my guns, my militia guns, when I need to get them out and like save the town.
Exactly, but for some reason the cop shoots this box.
No, but it's even weirder. So the cop shoots the box, opens it, sees that there's all these guns, and he goes, "Hey, partner, come look at this."
Oh yeah, he goes, "Okay," but the curly hair cop can't get over the clothes because he goes, "Hey, look, check out his dirty old clothes," and he thinks he's like real funny when he's on the slide.
Old dirty clothes, huh? I'd hate to pay your laundry bill. Hey, Mitch, come get a look at the man's old clothes.
And then the cop comes over and he goes, "Yeah, you get a look at those old clothes? Like, just fit it in one more time, you know?" Then for some reason the cops go, "I don't see anything."
They're like, they're gonna give this guy like army. He's gonna arm an entire army of whatever, and they go, "Oh, you know what? Just keep your guns, but
so
tell us where Dolomite."
Point of even opening it and finding it, because he goes like, "Well, I don't see anything."
Leverage.
All right, if you tell Dolomite, if you see Dolomite, tell him we're looking for him. But he doesn't say anything like, "You better tell Dolomite we're looking for him, or you tell us where he is, or else we're gonna arrest." No.
If you get around to it,
yeah. If you get around it, if you see Dolomite, fine. With these guns, fuck it. And so I go, I think Dolomite knows they're looking for him. Because he goes, if you see Dolomite, tell him we're looking for him. I'm like, I think he knows.
Didn't they just see him?
You just try to arrest him in a parking lot. I think he knows damn well you're going to be looking for him.
That they have to look for these pimps. They already know where they always are. They're going to be at the club. They're going to be at home. They're going to be...
That's what I said.
At this church.
He can just go to Dolomite's house.
But I mean, his car is not inconspicuous. It's his It's his caddy.
You're right. And the way he dresses,
and the way
you could spot him. Okay, the way Dolomite dresses, you could spot him 3 blocks away.
I know you're trying
that checkered suit.
You're trying not to be racist in this podcast, and we're not being racist. It's a fact. He's wearing bright clothes. They're all like one-offed. Like nobody else has it.
Yeah,
it's not hard. Like, you can go to anybody and be like, "Hey, did you see Dolomite's car? Oh yeah, he was just driving down that way."
Okay, everybody knows who Dolomite is. Everybody knows who Dolomite is, which we'll find out in a scene coming up real soon. But first, we go to a lunch truck where we get the introduction of the most useless character in this movie. We watch a drug addict try and order a burger for a while.
Shaking.
And I wrote, at this point, I'm not sure what I'm watching. Because it just goes, so it goes from this church scene to a druggie, like a drug addict, shaking in front of a lunch truck going...
So that's the character I think is the one that you were talking about in the bios, was the one that sang the story. And that was his cameo, like his payback for, hey, thanks for the story.
It's got to be, right?
Because he was in there for a long time. And they made him kind of like...
God, this scene is painfully long.
And they made him like Blimpy. Like he is, buy me a burger on Tuesday or whatever, and I'll pay you back later.
Yeah. Well, I did have one problem with this. He goes, "I'll take a burger and French fries," and she goes, "You know we don't serve French fries." I'm like, "What fucking truck serves a burger and no French fries?"
I don't know. But I don't want to eat there.
That kind of pissed me off. I was like, "All right, no."
What's
you're
cool
right. He does do that. Yeah. What's his name from Popeye?
Blimpy. Isn't it Blimpy?
I forget his name.
I swear
it's Blimpy. The guy who says, "Give me a hamburger today, I'll pay you on Tuesday," or something. Because he works his way, and the lady buys him a free burger.
Because he's holding up the line. One other person wants to buy something. They can't say, "Hey, get out of line and go find money."
No.
Just give him a burger.
Gives him a burger, and he goes away. This is obviously his routine. And then we see him kind of stumble down the street and dance to a weird song for a while. This goes on for minutes, this scene.
And if you notice, like, his character type, that character type is found in other black movies all for the next 30 years. There is always that one character that is like that. So there must be...
Well, and you know what the other thing, too, that's interesting about this is that we'll find out the way that Dolomite handles him is not, like, with disdain.
No.
Like, Dolomite is really nice to everybody who lives in his neighborhood, including the drug addict guy. And he, like, has sympathy for this guy, which we'll see.
Which is another reason, like, I don't think he was ever involved with drugs. But I think, like, this is just before the blow-up of crack. And that is more of what a crack addict is.
Yeah, so
maybe,
what was he doing? Because we'll get to this part, because he's injecting something. I believe it must be like heroin, right?
Right? It had to be heroin. Or no.
But the way
they never dealt with heroin. It was always like, oh, this is cocaine. So
right. So maybe it is.
It's the beginning of crack because, you know, let's say crack was an 80s problem, right? But it obviously existed before the 80s.
Yeah, it's 75. But the way that Dolomite handles him is like, oh, I just know you know, you need your fix and everything. He doesn't like tell him he needs to clean up or anything, but he doesn't like handle him like he's a problem.
And he doesn't act like it's that guy's fault.
No.
That he's
he knows
an addict,
yeah.
Which is more like how the I read this book like Tally's Corner, and it was more about how that whole thing worked. Crack was a government thing against the black community. That's the rhetoric in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. All right, so before we get to a guy doing crack and Hughes breaking down his government conspiracies.
No. There's actual sociological like research done into this. Tally's Corner being a great example of it, all the way to the 60s, which was like Black Like Me, and where that one guy took like all the tanning pills and learned all that stuff in the South.
Remember that movie where that white guy took all those tanning pills, Soul Man?
No.
Oh, you've never seen that? Okay,
no,
look this up when you get home.
A Meteor Man.
C. Thomas Howell is in this movie. It's the most racist movie ever made in the 80s. It's called Soul Man, and he can't get into college, so he takes a bunch of tanning pills and turns himself black and pretends to be black.
No.
Yes, to get into college. This is a real movie made in the 80s.
That's exactly what a guy did for Black Like Me in the 60s.
Yeah, no, I know, Chris.
Oh,
they
okay.
made it into a movie where a white guy pretends he's black so he can get into like Harvard. Okay. And he walks around, I'm not even kidding, the whole movie is a white guy in blackface, and he puts on like a afro wig, and he says like, come on, brother, and all this stuff. It's the most racist thing you'll ever see in your life.
How did it do? Was it a well-received movie?
No, it was not. And James Earl Jones is in the movie. It's one of the worst movies you'll ever see. Look it up. I'm not kidding. I own it on DVD. When I saw they actually sold that, I was like, well, I better pick this up before it's never seen again.
Or it's burned.
Okay, so we go to this parking lot. Dolomite walks out of a car, and this is where we know people obviously know who he is.
Because he's got the cane and he's walking out of there.
Okay, yeah. He's got this cane. He's got his hat on. He's got this fur coat. And so these guys walk up and one of the guys goes, would you tell this guy you're Dolomite? I bet him $5 you're Dolomite. And I wrote, he's hard to miss. He definitely sticks out. But these guys persuade Dolomite to give him a show in the parking lot, which I'm going to play a little bit of right now.
The great Titanic sailed away. The captain and the lieutenant was having a few words when the great Titanic hit that mighty iceberg. Sean was in the boiler room eating some peas. Black-eyed peas they were.
No, it's fine. Like, they have the show. They get this is where you find out like he's an entertainer. Like this,
yeah, because he
this
says
is like a building of the character that's beyond the pimp that we've been watching for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah, because he says, you know, guys, I'm going to be performing in the club, which is weird that he says that because he has not gotten the club yet.
No.
But he goes, come over this Friday or something, which I think that maybe this scene was supposed to take later originally and they maybe cut it in sooner. But he says, like, come on down to the club this weekend. I'll be performing. And they're like, I don't have money for that. And he's like, all right, well, I'll give you a show right here. And yeah, he does one of these urban poetries, slam poetry, which we played a little bit of.
And it was very I actually enjoyed it. It was a good story. It was about like one of the people on the Titanic, one of the black people on the Titanic, like, hey, you hit something, it's sinking, and the guy goes, nah, get back down there. Start filling the bags to fix the hole. And that was like that was the story. I'm like, this is so weird.
Rudy Ray Moore's stuff is like great. It's these weird stories he comes up with where there's always like a black character interacting with the people around
authority.
him. Yeah. And always like I don't know, it's always full of jokes, but whenever they cut to people, they're always laughing at the weirdest parts. Like, they never seem to be laughing at the punchline parts.
Well, let's wait until we get to that whole scene, and we'll talk about that.
So after the rap, Dolomite sees the drug addict guy, and he introduces him as he goes, well, if it isn't the hamburger pimp.
Like, he's playful.
And I wrote, the lighting is so atrocious in this scene because they have that reflector just shined on Dolomite, but somebody keeps, like, you can tell the wind was a problem because it keeps flying all over the fucking place. But him and Dolomite are friends. You can't really understand anything the drug addict guy says. But basically, he says that Willie Green is killing the neighborhood, and Dolomite offers to help him get his fix if he can give him some information about Willie Green. I wrote, this is a scene with 3 people: Dolomite, the drug addict, and Mr. Boom Mike, who makes his second appearance in this movie. Just get it all. Make sure we get that in the frame. Wonderful.
When you're shooting like this, a guerrilla style, like, I don't think there's a lot of takes going on. Do you just you have to keep the boom mic? I mean, it's fine. It's not like
he's not looking in the viewfinder.
Well,
trust me, I've used film cameras
directing
before. No. I've used film cameras before. Okay, you can tell, you can see the shot. You have a line where, like, before you take a shot. Okay, this is just how we do everything that I've ever worked on with the boom mic. You have a shot, and you tell the audio guy, you go, okay, dip it down. All right, up. There's your line. Don't go past there. Apparently,
hey, maybe he's using his girls, and they're just like they're all just piling out of a car real fast.
They must be getting tired. So we go to the hamburger pimp's apartment, and Dolomite watches him shoot up. He says something about how this is his last fix because they're threatening to kill him like little Jimmy. Did you make out any of that?
No, I had no idea what the hell was going on.
So the hamburger pimp says something about how they're after him, like they're after little Jimmy because they know he's with Dolomite. And then here's the other thing you learn about little Jimmy, which said he's not so innocent. Creeper, who we find, this guy's name is Creeper, the hamburger pimp.
Okay.
So,
oh, that's right.
He drifts off while Dolomite tries to get more information from him, and then he kind of like slaps him around a little bit. But he says little Jimmy was selling drugs.
All right, so 1, to confirm, that would be heroin, since he's nodding. 2, so now we're getting exposition from the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, which you can't even understand this guy as he's trying to say
I just glossed over on this whole
you
part.
have a guy giving you very important exposition that you could barely understand. But he says little Jimmy was selling drugs and he wanted to get out, but they wouldn't let him. So that's why they killed him.
And then now you find out Queen Bee was lying.
Because he wasn't just he was walking home, but he was selling drugs.
Or he was trying to get money, out of it. Yeah.
And he said he didn't want to sell drugs anymore, and so they shot him. But Queen Bee left all that out. Or maybe didn't know it. I don't know.
I would love to know her connection to all of this.
So in the middle of this, 2 random guys just storm into this apartment and all of a sudden kill Creeper.
Right. Like the second he's about to name something, they shot him.
Who these guys are? We don't know.
No idea.
They come out of nowhere. I mean, obviously they must be working for Willie Green.
Are they? I don't know. Because watch, they come and they kill. They immediately cut the scene to outside of this like building and these like 30 people in an alley. So all of a sudden, cut back into the room. And then like
there's like a shitload of people all of a sudden outside, like knowing something was going down now.
They cut back into the room and then they have the fight.
Yeah, Dolomite kicks both their asses, shoots one guy. So now he's killed 4 people.
Obviously also in the trailer. And then it cuts again.
Okay, so he beats up that one guy, but then it cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
It cuts again. Now you're outside the apartment again with that big group, but then there's like these people running through the group, splitting
the
them.
2 cop guys.
The 2 cop guys run into the room and they go, we got you now.
Okay,
again.
So when they come in and they go, we got you now, the other guy that he just punched out, if you look, his throat's been slit.
No.
So Dolomite knifed that guy to death. So he's now killed 5 people since he's been out of jail. Yeah, the cops go in and they go, we got you. And he goes, what's the charge this time? I wrote, I think it's obvious. And the main cop who pat his belly pat cop, says this time it's murder. And then comedian cop, curly hair, goes, looks more like a slaughter to me.
That line, the delivery of it looks like a slaughter was so like after the fact.
It was like, I'm going to throw this in before they yell cut.
Gotta get my ad-libs in. You know, I made that up.
You know he did. It didn't fit at all. He just goes, looks like it's slaughter to me.
What's the charge this time, man?
This time it's murder. Stick your hands up.
It's more like slaughter to me.
So we go to the church again. And then this new cop, we're going to introduce a new character. We're maybe over halfway through the movie at this point, introducing a new character. He's a black cop, and I wrote, obviously the FBI guy. I mean, who else would he be?
Yeah, but they didn't say it. They didn't say it. He just flashes it. He goes here, and he puts it away like like it's a trivia show. Here's the secret answer.
So the guy who we don't know who he is yet, obviously the FBI guy, walks in and asks for the Reverend. He walks in the empty church and he's like, Reverend, and the Reverend's sleeping with this woman.
Got his fingers in everything, as you said.
Yeah, he does. He's got his fingers in everything in this town. So he walks over to this room, and the Reverend's carrying that small whip. He's like, whips the lady. He's like, get out of here, get out of here. She runs to a closet. And then the cop comes in, and he goes, have two white cops come by and ask for anything. And he tells them they were looking for Dolomite. And the cop tells him, he just asked the Reverend, he's just like, listen, are you working for Willie Green or Dolomite? And the Reverend says he only works for the Lord and is pure of heart. And then in one of the most disgusting things in the movie, the cop picks up a pair of panties.
Yeah.
He picks them up.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And like brings it close to his face. And he's like, you're pure of heart, huh, Reverend? Then why are you hiding that broad in the back room? He gets a little rough with them. Like, he starts roughing up the Reverend a little bit.
Yeah, but did you find it weird that, okay, the Reverend's not wearing a shirt, he's just wearing a sheet.
Yeah.
And he grabs his throat, but like there's a tie there, but there's no collar or anything. And he just kind of like lifts him.
And he basically tells him he's coming after him if he doesn't come clean. He said, I'm a little confused about all this because we don't know who this man is yet. Is he a cop? Is he the FBI guy?
No, the
time has not come.
He just showed this guy, like the character, the Reverend character knows what this guy is. Nobody else does.
He knows him. Yeah. For some reason, the Reverend knows.
No, he flashed him the badge or whatever it was, but they didn't like, oh, hey, I'm the FBI. It was just and throw it away.
Yeah. Okay. So we go to Dolomite's house. Some lady walks in, tells Queen that some bitch has been stealing from her. The lady gets up and she goes,
You a goddamn lie, ho. Oh, really? Wait, hold it. Come on, give it up.
Then Queen gets some money from her. She has been stealing. Slaps her and tells her to get out. Useless scene. Go back. I mean, seriously. It doesn't mean anything.
They're just showing that Queen Bee runs the place and is like honest.
Not steal money.
Yeah.
Did you notice though, by the way, that the lady who says that some girl's been stealing from her is the same lady from the massage parlor earlier?
No,
it's the same lady. So we go to the jail, and the black cop, the FBI guy, who we don't know is the FBI guy yet, is there to see Dolomite. He asks like, all right, can I talk to you in private or something? And Dolomite's like, these are my friends. Just go ahead and spill the business right here.
Did you see how intricate those dominoes were?
Okay, yeah. So some guy's building like a domino mountain on this table in this jail cell. And Dolomite's like, yeah, let's just do our business right in front of all these guys here. And he's like, hey, do you know Willie Green? And Dolomite's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the cop, in pretty much a useless scene, walks out and knocks over that domino tower.
Motherfucker.
And the guy's real mad about it. But then we just kind of jump cut to it's later in the same cell, and a cop comes in and goes, all right, Dolomite, you're free to go.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that's confused. What's going on?
This is a murder charge. And he's getting bailed out. Typically for murder, I think they don't have bail.
How are we this far into it and we haven't I swear the club scene was a lot earlier when he kicks out.
No, we haven't got to the club yet. We haven't even got to the club yet.
So it goes off topic. Okay. Off topic. It goes from he takes over the club scene, the club from.
He has not taken over the club yet.
And then immediately into the fucking party.
Yeah, he's not even taken over the club yet. That's why I said that it must have been a scene earlier in the movie because.
I think yours copy was wrong because mine was much earlier.
Really?
Yeah, mine was like seriously like 20 minutes in.
Well, maybe they finally put it in the right place. I have an original DVD release of this movie. I don't know if they changed this.
I have to go home and look.
So, okay, anyways. Yeah, because I said it doesn't make any sense.
Yours doesn't make... I'm like, dude, why have we not got there yet?
Okay, so we will get there. So we go outside the jail. Dolomite's picked up by a lady waiting for her. Her name is Pinky Yvonne. She'll make a few other appearances in this movie, but she's not really an integral part of the movie.
No, but he's always happy to see her.
He can walk up, Pinky Yvonne, oh my God, you know?
Pinky Yvonne, what brings you down?
She's the girl who left him to go to Willie Green.
Oh, what established that?
Because he says it in the next scene. We go to a sex scene, weird jump cut where okay, so they're laying in bed, but then all of a sudden, in my copy at least, you heard like, and then they're done. And she's like, she says something about how she's the best man. He's the best man she's ever had in bed. And he asks, even better than Willie Green. And she's like, yeah. And then you find out she's the girl who left Queen while Dolomite was in jail. But he doesn't trust her. And how did she get enough money to bail him out?
And drive that nice Corvette.
Yeah, and he thinks Willie Green's up to it, obviously. And then it turns incredibly violent as Dolomite like gets on top of her and starts slapping her. And he goes,
since you wanted my love, I'm gonna give you a fucking you'll never forget.
And then starts slapping her, gets on top of her, and she likes it.
That's the exploitation part.
Yeah,
that's really the only like weird sex scene there is in this. There's other sex scenes, but this is the only like.
Yeah, this is like the only real
exploitation part of the whole thing.
Because the whole rest of it they already had sex once. Yeah. Now he's doing it again.
It's violent.
Shots that we have. This is when it has a POV from the woman, like really out of focus of Dolomite just kind of like going at you in the frame. Like you said, for the ladies.
For the ladies.
I said a real quick finish, thankfully. We're out of that scene. Parking lot. Dolomite's about to get on a payphone, but a kid rides by on a bike and he goes, yeehaw!
Yeah.
Yeehaw! I love how they included that. Like, so odd.
Yeah, but this is making sense. Like, the order you're telling this in makes sense. Maybe I just watched the movie wrong.
Okay, so Dolomite gets on the payphone. He calls Shy and tells her, go into my house, get this key, and then meet me at Willie Green's club. So we go to the club. Two guys are watching girls try out to dance on stage. Shy shows up, and so does Mr. Boom Mike.
By the way, what's your name?
It's Shy, short for Chicago.
One of the guys tries to hit on Shy for a little bit, but she says she's waiting for Dolomite.
One of the guys, I thought it was... It's not Willie Green?
No. It's not Willie Green yet. It's like his lackey,
yeah.
That guy that wears the blue suit. So when she comes in, Chris, what does she say?
My name is Shy. Short for Chicago.
She always says that. The one guy says like, oh, something about, well, okay, so she sits down and the guy goes, oh, well, whoever you're waiting for, I guess he's not showing up. It's been 1 second. Literally 1 second.
Maybe you're waiting for me. And you didn't know it.
And he goes, who are you waiting for anyways? And she goes, Dolomite. And he goes, who? And stands up, and Dolomite's already there.
You skipped a part.
What?
When he was talking about, he goes, hey, what do you guys think of that girl in the red one?
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, okay, red one, you're hired. Show up tonight. Thank you. And then he's like, other girls keep dancing, and then they have like this wide shot back, and you see like these three girls like, I don't know, that's not even dancing. I don't know what they were doing.
They're just kind of gyrating slowly.
And then you're thinking to yourself, when they were on the close up of the table, were the girls actually dancing, just sitting there in the back while they're taping?
Well, okay, yeah. When it goes to like the whole scene that's about to happen, the girls disappear.
Yep.
But I thought at this point that they were all strippers. Boy, was I wrong. This club is so involved.
This club is the like pinnacle of everything. This is where the kingpin is of the
like
gangs.
I wish that like clubs like this still existed. It's like some sort of variety club.
That's later.
Well, okay. I'm assuming Willie Green runs the same type of club. Maybe not. Okay, so Dolomite comes in. He pushes his way past the guy. And I love this part is he just like starts walking to the back of the place and the guy's like, hey man, what are you doing? You can't do that. And just follows him the whole time. Doesn't try to stop him at all, but just like, hey man, what are you doing?
Did he say like that's for staff only?
Yeah, he's like, no man, that's for staff only. And then he walks into this back room and he throws this table. He's like, hey man, what are you doing? You're messing up all the furniture. Dolomite bends down and starts cutting the carpet. And he's like, hey, what are you doing, man? Fucking up the carpet. He's not doing anything to stop him. He's just like dictating exactly what's going on screen.
Where you going, Dolomite? You don't own this place anymore, man. This is Willie Green place. Where you done throwing shit around, man, and cutting the fucking carpet? Where you going with the money, man?
Dolomite cuts open the carpet, reaches into this safe, just pulls out money, comes back out to the main room, chucks this money on the table, and he says,
give that to Willie Green. And tell him I want him out of here in 24 hours. And 23 of them are already gone.
Love that line. They're not going to take this fight scene. Of course, Dolomite wins, kicks some ass, a little spin kick here and there. Willie Green, okay, so here's what it is. Dolomite kicks ass and then walks out of the club with Shy, right?
Right.
Not even 1 second later, Willie Green walks in.
That's what confused me the first time I watched it. I'm like,
but I was like, okay, by the way, there's no like passage of time. It's like Dolomite walks out one door and in the same door Willie Green walks in. So like did they see each other? Like, do you think they pass each other and he's like, oh hey, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you, Dolomite. Like they would have seen each other for sure.
He would ask, hey, you got my money? And he goes, yeah, it's inside.
Yeah, no, I love it for you. But he walks in, okay, like I said, maybe 2 seconds after Dolomite leaves. And then the one guy who got beat up goes, oh man, boss, 10 men just came in and attacked us. And Willie Green walks over and kicks his ass again. He says, don't ever lie to me again. All right, how does he know it was a lie? And then that's what I put. Now that I think about it, he showed up right after Dolomite. Maybe they saw each other outside.
This is where we all find out that Willie Green's got karate skills.
Yeah, because he karate chops the guy, and then he kicks over a chair. Then we go to a dojo, and Queen Bee and Dolomite come in. Also, Mr. Boom Mike wants to make his appearance. I don't even know if he's on the top or the bottom of this.
No, he's
scene.
in the top of this scene, and they're cutting between like the class and the dialogue, and it goes, no Mike? The full mic, no mic.
So Queen Bee, Dolomite, and Mr. Boom Mike watch as the girls are practicing their karate. Dolomite tells her he's taking the club back, and he says something about how Willie Green's real sore about it. And I wrote, well, how does he know that? Unless apparently he saw him outside. And apparently he gave him 50 grand.
Yeah, that was 50
Which I was
grand.
like, it didn't look like 50 grand. It just looked like a couple of hundreds there, but...
I mean, he had 100 grand in this movie. That's what they had left over.
He's gonna save half the budget so I can put it on this table. So Dolomite addresses the women. He tells them they got the club back, but there will be problems. And he says this line, he goes, there'll be problems with the blacks and the whites. Which I didn't really get. I was like, well, what?
I don't know, but it's interesting to call out the villain of this movie as the only black man working with the white people.
Well, it is, because Willie Green we'll find out very soon that Willie Green knows high up people. So I guess he's right. He maybe knows that Willie Green has more connections. But then he tells everybody, hey, we're going to throw a big party. Queen Bee's handling the invitations. And then he says, Dolomite is back on the scene.
I'm going to let them know that Dolomite is my name and fucking up motherfuckers is my game.
Love it. He really knows how to end a scene.
Oh, yeah. He's very strong.
So we go to the party. Oh, this party. Okay, so we go to some rich people party. We have no idea where we are. And some lady like comes up and she's like, "Oh, this will wonderful party. Thank you everybody for being here. We'd like to thank one man for being responsible for it all." Cut.
No.
She says one man who's responsible. Cut to outside. Car pulls up. Willie Green gets out. He goes to the door. We have this scene where he beats up a butler.
Yeah, with the weird mustache.
And I throw out Mr. Boom Mike has also joined the party. We find out this is the mayor.
The mayor's house.
Yeah, the mayor like gives a speech in front of all these people or something. Then Willie Green shows up. Then the butler runs in and tells him somebody's here to see him. The mayor's all mad. The mayor and Willie Green talk in a separate room. They have a meeting between them two and Mr. Boom Mike. He's also sneaking in on this movie.
There were very low ceilings in this house.
So basically, Willie tells him Dolomite is causing problems. The mayor says he had him bailed out so he can hit him whenever he is ready. So the mayor was the one who bailed him out.
And then the girl just happened to be there to pick him up?
Well, okay, you'll find out later that there is a connection between Pinky and the mayor in the very end. We won't get to it yet. But then he tells Willie Green to, quote, keep the blacks together.
See, there's a subplot here that we completely are missing.
Well, okay, so the mayor is going to be like the main bad guy.
No, yeah.
I mean, beyond Willie Green, because
he's the super bad guy. He's the
kingpin of it all.
Of this town.
And we have not even introduced him yet. This is the first time we see him, and this movie's almost over.
Mm-hmm.
So Willie leaves, and the mayor gets on the phone. He tells someone named Mitchell, who we find out is that white cop that's been bugging Dolomite the whole movie. That's his name. I don't know if it's ever been said before.
I don't think so.
And he says, I want you to take care of something. Keep my name clean. He also says he doesn't like Willie Green and doesn't want him coming around his house anymore.
Which does it mean to kill Willie Green too?
I don't know.
Because how can you give Willie Green, hey, keep the black people under control because you have that power because he's the other Dolomite. Once Dolomite's gone, he's in charge. But then you're also gonna have him killed, or just hey,
I don't know.
Stop by his house and just tell him, hey, just don't ever come to my house again.
By the way, I don't like Willie Green. I don't want him coming over. Do you want me to do anything about that, boss? No, I'm just sharing. You know.
I don't like Willie Green. I don't want him coming here anymore.
So then we go back to the club. It's just Queen Bee and Dolomite. The Reverend calls the club. And he says he has a tip for Dolomite for $500. And Dolomite says, shit, I'll give you $2. Cut to the church. Dolomite and Shy enter the church. And they're all like creeped out by it or something.
Well, it's super creepy because it's not a church at that moment. It is like a funeral parlor.
Yeah, like it's somehow transferred into a funeral parlor. And Shy says something about how she's afraid of ghosts. And Dolomite says,
I'm afraid of ghosts.
Ghosts. If you ever see a ghost, cut the motherfucker.
So Dolomite pays the Reverend. So I guess he is going to pay him the $500.
No, I paid him the $2, I thought.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
I thought he meant $2.
No, because then he's like, give my money back. Yeah, okay, it was just $200.
Right. So Dolomite, he tells him something about, okay, the Reverend says to Dolomite, he goes, I know we set you up. So he confesses to setting up Dolomite to begin with.
Yeah, but was it the furs and the...
Yes.
Okay, and the drugs?
He was definitely referring to that. Or maybe he was talking about the guy.
Like, which setup? Like, this guy's been set up so many thousands of times. It was me who set him up because I told the cops where you were. Or
maybe like, somebody said they saw you with that creeper guy, which is the most random thing for the cops to ever show up to that. Or why? Anyways, he says, I know we set you up and sent you to prison, but I know who's behind Willie Green. And then he gives him a piece of paper and he says, go to the docks. You might find the fish there interesting. And Dolomite, he says something about, well, shit, I already knew that. Give me my money back. But then he looks over and he sees all these dead guys in a coffin.
There's these 2 dead guys the whole time in the scene. An open casket.
And he goes, you got a full house.
He's got two dead guys in, and he lifts up that other one.
And there's a bunch of guns in it.
Yeah, and he said something. I forget what it was.
He goes, you got a full house.
Look like you got a full house here, Rev.
He opens the coffin, bunch of guns, threatens to take his money back, and then the guys in the coffins pop up with guns.
And he didn't get scared, if you noticed. You just
Dolomite never gets scared.
No, you're like, what are you going to do? Shoot me?
So then the scene ends.
No, you missed that whole scene.
What?
He goes, I guess your information's good, and then he takes his hat off, and the one guy in the coffin, he takes his hat and hits the gun with his hat and walks out.
It was like Rudy Ray Moore is like, no, this scene can't end with them getting the upper hand. I gotta somehow
he punked him.
I gotta punk him. So then we cut to the docks. This part is so random. So it's just Dolomite and another girl. I don't even think this is shy. It's another girl.
Nice clothes.
Yeah.
Walking up
by
to
the way,
like,
Dolomite in every scene has a new outfit. Every scene.
I can't remember which scene it was, but my favorite one was like, when you have those like when your friends have babies and like they dress them up like little sailors and they have the bib in the back.
This is the bib in the back.
He has like 3 of those. And they're so good.
Okay, they show up to the docks, and it's like the quote docks, right?
And it's
nobody there.
It's not the fish docks. This is the loading docks of some warehouse.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, they show up. There's nobody there. Not a single extra.
No,
right?
It's like Sunday.
But then there's like these barrels of ice and fish just sitting out. No cover on them or anything. They're just sitting outside, and Dolomite walks right up to it. So, and I thought he meant the docks, like you'll find the fish interesting, like as a joke, like go down to where they catch the fish. No. Dolomite picks up a fish, and there's like Coke in it.
Okay, that scene was so weird. So he walks up. He sticks his hand deep in the first one. Like,
yeah, he like digs through the ice.
I rehearsed this one. I know that the fish is in here. He's like, shit, it's not in this one. He goes in the next one and does it. He's in nice clothes. And he goes, okay, no. Then he finds the fish and he pulls the fish out. And I'm watching like, this is a fish, okay. Then he like pulls the guts and there's drugs.
Yeah, like a big bag of Coke.
Yeah, a big bag. And he opens it from like the fish belly.
Yeah.
And like brings it to his face, fish and all. Tastes it.
And he has like it tastes funky.
And he goes, it's like, cocaine.
Cocaine. Here's the thing, though.
I knew it. Cocaine. Like who knew that there was cocaine in the fish?
So this is the best part about this whole thing. These people, whoever it is, which by the way, this doesn't give away shit, because the Reverend's like, oh, this will tell you who's behind Willie Green. Who? All we know from this scene is Dolomite walks up. There's a barrel of ice just out in the open for anybody to go see, and he just. No searching. They don't have to run into anybody. Just immediately walks up to the docks. Oh, this must be the fish barrel. Puts it in. Like,
I didn't understand this scene. I got there's stinky cocaine on the docks. That's all I know.
So we go back to the club. This scene, really, this whole part, no resolution. Nothing's hard. We go back to the club. Dolomite's reopening it. He enters with his ladies. There's a show going on. A band playing with dancers and tambourines. A band, I forget the name of it. It reminded me a lot of like the Commodores.
Yeah, this would be like the 15-minute music video.
Okay, so the rest of this movie is pretty much just like it seems like they finished the movie and they're like, fuck, it's only 70 minutes. We got to add 20 more minutes to this thing. Shit, let's just get some bands,
like the Blues Brothers.
Yeah. Let's just have a musical act or 3.
Let's get Scatman Crothers, ABBA, and
so a band playing. Then Queen Bee. Okay, so the band plays a full song.
Oh,
full production. Then Queen comes on stage and introduces another act.
No, okay. First, the band's playing. And they're cutting back and forth between the audience and the band.
Yeah.
And the audience reminds me of like Tim and Eric's Crimbus special where they just like stone-faced, not enjoying their time.
They obviously were just like
held at gunpoint.
Rolling the footage, and they didn't even tell them to react.
Then
Queen comes on, introduces another act. Runtime. Willie Green's guys come in during the act, right? And then Queen Bee runs to the back room where Dolomite is just sitting in front of like a makeup mirror, applying makeup and combing his hair. And she goes, Willie Green showed up, and he's like, I'm not worried. He's definitely more worried about getting that makeup right.
What about like how Willie Green came into the club? It was like the players' ball. They each had a girl on their arm. They have
two. Willie's got to have two girls.
They have like their most expensive minks on. They have their loudest suit. And they're like like both the doors are open for them.
Strutting in.
I wanted like smoke to come out and like an announcer like now
Willie Green.
Or like, the old style, like the medieval times where they stamp the floor and they go, presenting Sir Willie Green.
Which is funny because Willie Green sits at the table like right in the front. It's like, did they move somebody or were they expecting him? But okay, so Queen goes back on stage, introduces the Dolomite dancers, which is some tribal dance with drums with people in like African tribal wear. And they start doing like something you would see at like Knott's Berry Farm or something.
Coming to America, the beginning.
It's like something out of a theme park. I don't know what's going on here. Then we see the reverends there, and I wrote with the horsewhip and a turban.
Okay, yeah.
And I wrote, it seems he seems conflicted even on what religion he's supposed to be. This goes on for way too long with the Dolomite dancers. It finally ends, but then all of a sudden, Dolomite comes out. And he does his rap, and we're going to play some of it here.
Way down in the jungle deep, the lion stepped on the signifying monkey's feet. The monkey said, motherfucker, can't you see? You're standing on my goddamn feet. The monkey lived in the jungle in an old oak tree. Bullshitting the line every day in the week. Every day before the sun go down, that lion would kick his ass all through the jungle town. But the monkey got wise and started using his wit. Start saying, I'm gonna put a stop to this old ass kicking shit.
And I remember most of this rap, the beginning of it, from the movie Bebe's Kids.
Is that what it's from? Or I mean,
they refer back, in the beginning of Bebe's Kids, because he quotes Dolomite so much in that movie. When he's in the bar, he says the beginning of that part where he goes, way down in the jungle deep.
I have to go rewatch Bebe's Kids. I didn't think I watched it enough.
I wrote, though, I can see the appeal of this, because this is probably one of the most entertaining things in the film, is Dolomite does a full routine, which is like 3-4 minutes long, where he tells this whole story about some monkey or something.
That's how you know, like, this is how they did the scene. I'll tell you exactly how they did the scene. They opened it up to the public. They said, hey, come down. We're going to show you. You're going to watch
Rudy Ray Moore,
and he's going to do some comedy for you, free. Then they bring in, like, but you have to be recorded, whatever. So they fill in the theater. They put in that little front section for the main characters, and then they run this whole thing of like, okay, we're doing this music video because we want to introduce this band, just like Red Hot Chili Peppers from Thrashing or whatever, right? Then we're going to do this because this is a dance troupe of all, we want to give African American actors a chance, and actors, dancers, whatever.
Yeah, because the band, I really should have done more research, but that original band had a guy who's like pretty famous in it, but it wasn't like that band was famous, but they had like a hit. That was their single that they played in there, so it was showcasing their music.
Then they finally sold the show, which is why you have no reactions, because these people are there for the Dolomite comedy hour. So he finally comes out.
Comedy hour.
He finally comes out. He does his whole routine, and if you notice, the audience is actually
they are just
excited,
dying laughing.
So I mean, he must have been huge. Like just this, like
he was really popular.
He must have been like a Dave Attell of that. Like
he was so popular. That's why he made this movie.
Yeah.
So Dave Attell.
Well, I mean, Dave Attell was like he's not he's not a mainstream comedian, but he sells out and he makes money.
Yeah. Okay, so that goes on for a while.
Mike Epps. Would you Mike Epps? He's like a Mike Epps.
So, okay. So he does this Dolomite comedy hour. It goes on for a while, but it's really entertaining, actually. I did write my notes at this point. It seems like they finished this movie and realized they need another 20 minutes. Queen closes the show, but they seem to have forgotten to record her audio because I can't hear shit.
It was so low.
So it's like she comes on stage and it's just like, all right, everybody, thanks for coming to the... You can't even hear her.
Nope.
Dolomite's total experience. Thank you.
So Dolomite puts on a wonderful tuxedo because after the show, he changes again into this amazing tuxedo with this
cummerbund,
a huge bow tie.
Red bow tie, matching cummerbund. I think it was plaid.
And he comes up to Willie Green's table and sits down. And Willie wants to make a deal. But he also claims that Dolomite cheated him and that there was something about interest and that he actually owes him $100 grand.
Well, think about
50 grand.
You know how like a VIG works, right? Like when you borrow money and then you have a point on it and you have a certain number of points.
Sure.
And that's what he's saying he owes. That's how you'll never get out of that debt.
Although he got 50 grand real easy, and it seems like I guess if a couple more nights with this club get another 50 grand, this could all be over with. And he says, maybe we should be partners. And Willie Green says, you seem to know your business, which is odd because he just performed, and he's like, I saw you on stage. You know your business aspect, which had nothing to do with that. Was entertaining and nothing to do with running the business.
I'm telling you, like his business is entertainment. Like maybe he isn't. Because okay, let's go back to the beginning where they go. We had to sell our bodies on the corner to pay for this.
Yeah.
Maybe he actually isn't a pimp. Maybe he just runs an escort. Like
maybe it's just a club.
Maybe it's just a club, and these are like dancers, and these are like he takes care of his women.
Maybe,
and he's so charming that they're all his girlfriends.
Maybe you might be right. I guess we don't know. We never actually see Dolomite do anything criminal
besides kill
other
people.
than kill 4 people.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of it was self-defense.
Sorry. So Willie Green says, "You run the business part of it, and I'll take care of quote the heat." Which, if Dolomite was running a legit business, there isn't much heat to take care of.
But he's always
the only problem is Willie Green.
Yeah.
Because other than that, everything's fine. So Dolomite says, and I love this part, he goes, it's nice to have seen you people, but fuck you, man. It's the most polite diss I've ever heard.
The tack in this scene where, negotiations are being had, it was perfect.
So Dolomite walks off, and Willie Green he can't handle it.
Give me the gun.
Asks for the gun and just yells out in the middle of the club, I'm going to kill Dolomite. Let's turn this place out.
Give me the gun.
They just start shooting up the club and people are like panicking and running. Dolomite just goes in the back room, takes off his jacket. No rush.
Yeah, but didn't Queen Bee get shot?
I did not notice that. Wait, Queen Bee gets shot?
She got shot. That's why when you were talking about it at the beginning where she was like in the other movies, I'm like, I thought she died.
Wait, Queen Bee got shot?
Queen Bee got shot as she's on stage walking off.
Holy shit, I didn't even see that.
I think I need to watch this a fourth time.
Oh my God.
Fourth time this week.
So Dolomite goes to the back room. He's getting ready. He's not in any rush.
Well, he's setting up.
Yeah. But he takes off his jacket. He's getting
ready to fight.
He's never scared.
No, he's not scared at all.
And he's no rush. Never in a rush. So all the girls come out. They kick a lot of ass. Everyone seems to know karate, even the cook. There's that part where some guy like goes into the kitchen and for some reason he's going to fight the chef.
Everybody from the dojo is working for him.
Yeah. I guess one of the cooks was okay.
They're all from the dojo.
So the black cop from earlier, the FBI guy, we don't know is the FBI guy yet, runs into the club all of a sudden. The cook burns a man's face on the grill.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like that piled heap under the sink or whatever. And then the other guy comes in and he goes, what the hell?
Like, okay, so Willie Green like goes into the back room and it's all dark or something.
Yeah, so when Dolomite comes into the back room and he's taking off his jacket, he kills the lights, but there's like this candelabra of like
like a Liberace candelabra
on the makeup stand.
Yeah. So Dolomite walked in, took off his jacket, slowly lit every candle, I guess, while the scene's going on.
Took off his jacket and then like went into another room. Cut the Willie Green coming through the door, and in the most lit area of the room, takes his gun out and starts shooting at the lights.
And then Dolomite comes over
and goes boo.
Well, okay, so he shoots at Dolomite and he hits him.
That's later. Like he shot the candles. Dolomite comes in, surprises him.
Shoots the candles.
Shoots whatever it was, the lights, candles, whatever. Shoots the candles. Dolomite comes in, surprises him. They scuffle. They turn. and Dolomite gets shot. Like, it's not immediate. Like, they're a little scuffle.
And then Dolomite comes over and apparently rips something out of Willie Green. Like, he grabs his stomach.
Well, because the FBI agent... No, that's what it was. So they're scuffling. The FBI agent comes in, turns on the light. Dolomite gets shot.
Yeah, okay. So the FBI guy turns on the light. Dolomite gets shot. Then he walks over to Willie Green and just grabs him in the stomach. And Willie Green just is like screaming and kind of keels over and dies.
Yeah. Well, we have no idea what happened, really. Until that cut.
He rips out something, not his heart, which I was so hoping he would pull his heart out of his chest. But Willie Green's on the floor, and you see a shot of him with his guts hanging out. And then the black cop, he walks in, he looks over at Willie Green's body, and he goes, "God damn, Dolomite." Then he shoots Willie Green twice with his gun, and he goes, "Go ahead and get out of here. It's on me."
Yeah, so good. Like,
and I wrote, well, how's he going to explain the guts hanging out? Because that had nothing to do with the gunshot.
But like, he has no idea who this guy is, so that was his way of like, this is how I gain the trust of Dolomite.
It's all for you. It's on me.
So then the scene just ends. Go to the mayor's house. He's having sex at home with his wife, and the phone rings. And
Was it with his wife?
Yeah, it was with his wife. Okay, this is where it gets really. Hold on. No. Okay. So he's having sex with Pinky Yvonne. Then the phone rings, and for some reason he answers it, and it's Mitchell, the white cop that's been bothering, that pat him on the belly, and he tells him Dolomite got away and everything's going wrong, and the mayor then just leaves the room naked, and we have to watch the mayor. This actor like would refuse to put a towel on.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God. The whole scene, you can see he's just standing there, and this man, not in shape, even slightly.
No, it's supposed to show the grossness of the white man.
You see his ass for like a minute, and then he's just walking around this room in the bathroom where he has his other phone, and he calls somebody else, and he tells them to hunt down Dolomite. We see his naked body for a long time. And then apparently the mayor tells the person on the phone the exact hospital room that Dolomite's in. And I wrote, how does he know this? He just got called.
Informative call.
He just got called from Mitchell, who said everything's gone wrong. Dolomite got away. Then he hangs up, calls the other guy, and he goes, "Hey, go get Dolomite. He's in the hospital in this room." So then
we got to get to the hospital somehow.
Okay. So then Pinky Yvonne comes in to the room, and she comes in with a gun.
And she's holding it on him. And she's like,
yeah, she's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you on this toilet. And then he says something about his wife. And she says, like, that lady's asleep in the next room or something. But then his wife comes in and tries to help. And she shoots her dead in the shower. But then the mayor grabs Pinky and strangles her to death on the bathroom floor.
It was such a weird scene to watch.
It made no sense. Then the black cop, who we finally learned is the FBI guy, and I wrote, no shit, shows up to the mayor's house from the backyard.
Yeah.
And then these two goons, who we've never seen before or anything, like stop them, and they're like, all right, wait, hold up. We're waiting for you.
No, we've seen him before. That's the one guy that can't speak English.
Oh! Okay, so he says something like, we're waiting for you, and he pulls out this syringe, and he's like, we're gonna...
That was a different one.
He goes, we're gonna like inject you and then leave you in the pool.
Yeah, and it was like this white mixture
it's
of...
like, what the fuck is like, going on?
That's not gonna work out, man.
And the guy just goes, you know, why are you dealing with this guy, man? This mayor's gonna fuck you over. Look, he's running away. And then the mayor runs out with these two suitcases. What's in them? We don't know. I don't know.
They're not important.
No, he just runs out with these two suitcases. And then the FBI guy just kicks the guy's asses. The mayor drives off. We get in this... Oh, okay. So the mayor drives off, and you remember this? The FBI guy runs out of his house and fires at the car, but then he turns around and starts firing towards the house, but there's nobody there. He just starts firing wildly into the street. Then we get this car chase, really slow car chase with a lot of stolen footage.
Oh, absolutely. So that house that they used, if in the Blu-ray you can make out what street it is and what the thing is. So I looked it up. Oh, the whole house is completely different, but the backyard's the same.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
They added on to the front of the house, so they extended it and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I can watch the whole car chase. And you're like, oh, wait, it skips. It skips all over.
So they go like down a main street, and then they're magically at an airport.
Did you like how they just like kind of rolled into this airport with an airplane perfectly ready to go?
Okay, so one scene is the mayor is driving down a main street, and we see him go over like train tracks and all this. And then you're right, within the shot of the car, so we see like a shot of the mayor, and then he pulls up next to a plane. Like, didn't see him pull into the airport or anything.
There's no gate to go through.
This has got to be Santa Monica Airport.
No, I think it's Van Nuys.
Oh, okay. So he pulls into Van Nuys
It could be Santa Monica or Van Nuys, but I want to say from where they were is Baldwin Hills is where that house was. And then into the valley was right in like Sepulveda area. So it has to be like Van Nuys.
So they pull into this airport. Like you said, there's a plane ready to go. Like apparently the mayor just has this plane ready at any moment for when the shit hits the fan. Or maybe when he made one of his infamous phone calls.
Oh, God.
But then the FBI just shoots him.
As he's like trying to get up this airplane wing. Not delicately. Like, this is an airplane. Like, it's thin aluminum.
We're watching a portly man try and like scramble up a wing.
Jumping up and down.
Like, he doesn't even want to get in the gunfight. He fires once, but then he's like, like trying to get in the door. Then he just gets shot and he's dead.
He turtles on his back over the wing.
Cut to hospital. Dolomite's in a bed, and Shy for some reason is dressed up like a nurse. With a little hat on, because I thought it was a nurse, but at one point the FBI guy addresses Shy by name.
Maybe that's just like the fashion.
So you think Dolomite was like, come on to the hospital, baby, and dress up like a nurse. You know, make me feel at home.
Be my candy strapper.
Or do you think he goes, I brought my own nurse?
We take the only girl you trust.
That's true. So the FBI comes in, tells him, Dolomite, that he has a hit out on him. And I go, that's still in effect? The mayor and Willie Green are now dead. Who would care?
Well, once you put a hit on somebody, you have to cancel it. But the people that could cancel it are dead.
Well, I guess, you would think the mayor dying would be on the radio, on the TV. At this point, it would be local LA news.
I don't know. I'm going to try and like justify every point in this movie.
So these goons show up at the hospital, and the guy asks the nurse in the front, super suspiciously,
looking for my friend Dolomite.
Yeah, I'm looking for my friend Dolomite. Have you seen him? And she's like, oh, he's in this room. And then you remember that part where he like taps her face?
And she was super happy about it.
Yeah, like he cups her
into
face.
It. Like, hey, I got you this part. You're welcome.
It's like so demeaning. These guys, they walk into the darkest hospital hallway I've ever seen. I mean, there's like, it's basically... They were trying to roll somebody through this aisle. Like, somebody would trip. It's so fucking dark in this hallway. And they pull out these guns, and then they
each had a piece of the one gun.
Yeah,
like, he's like, give me that. And he's like this guy has the barrel. This guy has the ammo.
They like put together an M16 in the hallway.
Did you notice in that scene, like the room behind, like they're in front of the door. The room behind them is like Dolomite looking out, and then
I didn't even notice that. You can see him looking out.
He's like. And then he goes, oh, they have a gun. And he goes back into the other room.
I didn't even notice that. So they walk into this room and they shoot the bed.
Don't even check, like, hey, this guy's injured in the hospital.
They just shoot.
Probably on drugs, No, let me just shoot the bed.
They just shoot the bed up. And then the FBI guy at Dolomite kicked their ass, which makes no sense. Because for some reason, the FBI guy lets Dolomite also kill and fight these guys, even though his arm's in a sling.
He's fighting them. Did he kill them?
Like, okay, so what happens is I think Dolomite shoots one of the guys, and then the FBI guy shoots
the main white guy that broke the window.
Yeah, the FBI guy gets 2 guns at one point and just fires at the guy like 9 times. Like he's already dead and this guy's still firing at him. And I wrote, well, why didn't he just call for backup? Like if they know somebody was going to come into that hospital, the FBI guy should have been like, no, Dolomite, you can't police.
You forget he's been deputized by the warden.
All right, Dolomite. Unfortunately, the government doesn't have enough money. We can't get anybody down here in time. You and I are going to have to handle this. So
they did set the whole thing up like, okay, we're going to tell everybody that you're in this room, but we're going to move you to this room.
Yeah,
but they didn't really move him to that. It's seriously like the next room.
It's so confusing. So then the two white cops have been bugging Dolomite the whole time.
Yeah, no. First, the FBI agent disappeared somewhere.
Yeah, he just leaves.
He leaves. He's gone. He's like, hey,
but he says
Dolomite.
something like, "Oh, the other guys will be here." Or something, but then he just walks out like he's got to go to the bathroom or something. And Dolomite's in the room by himself, and the 2 white cops walk in.
Hey, by the way, he's not by himself.
Oh, Shy's there?
No, the mic is coming from the bottom. It's going from the bottom of the frame this time, but this time it's not just the mic; it's the entire cradle with the wire.
And this is the crazy part: is these guys, the 2 white cops, walk in with guns. They could shoot him right now.
Absolutely. They really just wanted like put him through the justice system.
Yeah, because they're like, all right, you're arrested or something. Like, I don't know what the
we
fuck's
got
going
you
on.
now
We
again.
got you.
Like the 6th time we arrested you.
But then the FBI guy walks in. The jig is up. He arrests them and tells these 2 other officers finally get to the scene. A little late. They arrest the 2 other cops.
And he's like, I'm taking all 3 of you down.
Yeah, and okay, do you remember when the cops are getting arrested and the curly hair cop says something like, oh, man, Mitchell, I don't know why you convinced me to do this. Like he's trying to get out of it now.
And by the way, the non-curly haired cop, his pants, so good. Those red pockets on both sides. Like, that's how I want to go to jail.
Okay, so those cops dress up like in disguise. It makes no sense. So then, last scene in the movie, we just cut to an exterior shot. And the FBI guy says to Dolomite something about, I'm sorry we had to close up your place, but I'm sure you understand. And I wrote, well, I don't.
Yeah, and they're talking about the club or are they talking about the brothel?
Chris, I have no idea.
I don't know.
But he says to him, he goes, you're a free man. What are you going to do? And then it just freeze frames and Rudy Ray Moore just sings what he's going to do over the credits.
It was perfect.
But you're a free man. What are you going to do and where do you go from here, Dolomite?
I'm going back to the flatland with all of my poor friends. Because it may come a time I might need them again. Sometimes you climb high on a hill and this is a fact. Your dreams get wasted and your black ass slide back. We gonna put the P in the party and let the good times roll. There'll be drinking and smoking. Satisfy your soul. Stop into my house anytime and have potluck. Don't care what your name is and what you're wearing. We don't even give a fuck. Yes, I'm gonna tell my children's children.
And the first credits are like stunt.
Yeah, that was what I thought was weird. The only part of the credits I watched was that he named the fight choreographers first. Like, what, did they have a deal or something? Like,
so at the end of it, like I watched obviously the credits. There was a lot of things, and one of them was the Chuck Norris School for Karate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
so like
funny.
all of those people were actually like people that he probably went to karate class with.
You know what? This is the thing is like this is before Chuck Norris was
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. So he was just doing karate lessons at this point, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, Chuck Norris was no Steven Seagal, right? He wasn't like a true competitor, or was he a competitor?
No, Chuck Norris was. I believe Chuck Norris was like a karate champion before he became an actor.
So like this is like what Dolomite was all about, was the karate. Like if you look at the credits, it's 90% karate and like,
but
5%
terrible at karate. Like Dolomite is horrible at karate.
Well, I mean, that's what Bruce Lee was fighting for during that time, was like all the karate studios that were becoming popular were terrible.
Because the moves that Rudy Ray Moore does are so slow that anybody would just... And I mean, you don't even have to dodge. You could just like walk out of the way of one of his kicks.
But he had to be like 50 years old.
That's what you think. He is pretty old. You're right.
He's not a young chicken.
But he's just like, it's like one of his kicks. So we've made it through Dolomite. Your recommendation?
I think you got to watch it at least once.
Oh, 100%.
I think it starts a whole different genre of movies.
The first 20 minutes of this movie is so good. It's so good.
I mean, I think like there is probably going to be a fan recut because it's Blu-ray. There's going to be a fan recut, and it's going to be better. They're going to take out a lot of the things.
It just drags a lot in the second act, and there's no. And see, this is the other thing is like there's no twist.
No,
there's no second act twist. There's nothing that's like a surprise. I guess it's supposed to be that the FBI guy is the FBI guy, but we already knew it. So that's the one main problem in this movie is that like it does have a plot. It has a plot.
It established it very early too.
Yes, this movie has a clear first act, 3-act structure and everything. But what they have the problem is that there's no stakes, there's no tension. Like Dolomite just walks through everything. He never fails. He just immediately succeeds in anything he tries. Anytime there's an impediment, it's just solved within seconds.
With violence.
Yeah. Like he gets thrown in jail again for murder. Oh, don't worry, he'll get bailed out
by the mayor.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, he'll kill these guys. Like there's just nothing.
And in the end of the movie, there is no resolution. Like he's no longer in jail, and he's not wanted for anything. And whoever wanted to kill him is done, and he's free. But I mean, he's not a pimp anymore. He doesn't have his club to entertain. He is just
he's got nothing.
He's a creeper now.
You know, like what it needed was one of his girls to be working with Willie Green the whole time. Like if you had Shy being like a spy, that would have made so much more sense because there you got your twist, and then all of a sudden it would be great. Like if she caught him in a compromising position.
We missed a kill, and I think it happened in.
Oh, you mean when one of the dancers knifed a guy?
Yeah, and they sliced him. She sliced off his dick.
Yeah, it's all off screen. It's like the guy falls in the front of the frame, and then she gets on top of him and just goes, yeah, and then grabs it and cuts it. That was a good kill.
That was a good kill, and it was in the trailer.
Yeah, which we were sitting here watching the trailer together, and you were like, that's a good kill. I would recommend it, for sure.
It's an enjoyable watch. It's just, it's so slow in the middle.
Yeah,
but the ending's good. I enjoyed it. Like
the first 20 minutes and the last 20 minutes are great, and it's that 40 minutes in between that just really slows
I just want
down.
the one-liners to be cut in and then pasted together, and then give me that movie. Give me that afternoon special.
Uh-oh, do you hear that sound?
Oh, is it horns?
How could you forget, Chris? You know them. Oh no, I hear the lovely sounds of Sammy Johns here, wafting through the air. Chevy van. Chris.
I like Dodge too.
I know you've seen this movie. I don't know if you've thought about how it connects to this movie, but every movie we ever talk about on this podcast, we talk about how would the world of the first movie we ever covered, 1977's The Van, starring Stuart Goetz and Danny DeVito, about a ginger kid who gets a van and rapes women. Chris, how would The Van fit in with the world of Dolomite?
It'd be very weird, but I think they would actually be on Green's side more than Dolomite's side.
Why do you think that?
I think they would be like the patrons of the rub and tug.
Okay. You know that if he walked into another one of those rooms, it would have been Bobby.
It would have been Bobby and Danny DeVito in the same room.
Maybe bartering on who's going to pay for what. Okay, hold on. Wait.
No. Okay,
you go first and then I go.
Okay. Willie Green's walking down the hallway, turns into a room. There's Danny DeVito on his back. And there is one girl working on him. In the corner, in one of the little chairs, little folding chairs, is Bobby talking about his van to the girl.
You want to go share a joint in the bed?
You want? Yeah, he's like, you want to get out of here?
This is nothing like my van.
Want to see the world? I got a beautiful place on the beach.
Okay. Here's what I think. I love your idea of them being in that rub tug. I think they both go up to the front, and the mean lady who runs it sees Bobby and knows right away, this kid, you know, I can pull one over on him. She goes, I got a special room for you, son, right in the back. The dark room. Right? So she leads him back to the last room in the place. The lights are out. She says, just lay down on this bed, and you'll be surprised. Then DeVito comes in. And she goes, oh, 2 suckers in one day. And she goes, why don't you go on the back? There's a dark room. Just lay down in the back there. Anyways, this whole thing ends up with them being together in the dark room, and then the lights get turned on, and they're like, oh!
The Rocky Horror Picture Show ending. I got it. I can see that happening, though, because Bobby, you know, very hairless, but very long hair.
And you know the way that Bobby goes right for the goods and just, you know... Anyways, Willie Green walks in the room, flips on the light, and they're making out with each other. And they both kind of look at each other and they go, I won't say anything if you won't. Turn off the lights, Willie.
Oh, foreshadowing to his death.
Well, Sammy Johns, yeah. Okay, so we talk about on this podcast, and if you haven't listened to it before, the man who wrote the song that you were hearing while we were describing our van scenarios, he died. The obituary said Sammy Johns died either from a stroke or a lamp.
Repairing a lamp.
Repairing an old lamp. And my theory is that he definitely died from the lamp, but the cops were nice and said it was probably a stroke, just to kind of hide the fact that nobody wants to go down as dying from a... death by lamp electrocution. Hughes, what do you think about that?
I think it was necessary. You know, there's a lot of integrity in the
Do you
music.
agree with my theory, though?
Oh, absolutely.
You think it was definitely the lamp?
Yeah, they always say, like, oh, this guy died cleaning his gun. You know what that means.
He died of a heart attack while cleaning his gun.
Yeah. He died cleaning his gun. You know, the gun accidentally went off. Like, how do you clean a gun and it accidentally go off? They taste that sweet, sweet metal and squeeze the trigger for that relief that they're seeking.
Oh, so it's like, yeah, he's cleaning his gun. It just so happened to go off in his mouth.
If you ever hear that they died cleaning their gun, they killed themselves.
Oh.
Just know that.
Well, we went on a little long today, but it was wonderful having you here, Hughes. I'd love for you to come back.
I think we need to have a mediator of Mr. Man the next time.
Oh, I'd love it. The 3 of us would make a good show. Hopefully I can bring you guys a few more shows before Chris gets back. It's a while before he gets back, so at the end of this month.
He just got back from tour.
He's in Europe until the end of the month.
Gone again.
He's a busy man. Anyways, if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on grindhousefilm.com. You can also find us on twitter.com/grindpod. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else. And Chris, where can everybody find you?
All right, you can find me a couple of places. I do a charity stream on Twitch for the Extra Life charity, which goes to Orange County Children's Hospital. That can be found at twitch.tv/Obsidian. This is with Obsidian Entertainment, the video game company. My personal Twitter would be Iodine Live, one word. And I just post weird things about video games and whatever else is going on.
And you can find him in your local video store with Matilda, Deep Impact, and Sergeant Pilko.
Please, I still think Matilda is on Netflix. Can you get me those 3 cents per review? I would really
every time somebody buys a DVD, Chris gets a penny. So go out and buy your Matilda DVD.
33 cents per $100.
Here we go. Well, thanks for joining us, Chris, and thank you, everybody. And if you like this show, please rate and review us on iTunes. We really appreciate it.
Bobby, park the van.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're